Okay, hello people. How are you? We're going to try this again. I just had to restart the live. I had a little bit of an issue going on here, people. Now I hope we got this back, okay? So, let's go back to the live broadcast. And oh, by the way, this is Tom. This is the INFJ Experience. Just give me 1 second here to get these broadcasting glitches out of my way. I had a rough time getting these glitches going. There we are. Okay, we're back. We're back. All right, we are here. So I'm going to adjust this just about right. Get this in the right frame here. How's this looking? Right about there. Okay, I think that's much better. I think I can live with this. I can deal with this. All right. Everything looks better. Looks about right. All right. This is the INFJ Experience live, as you know, and broadcasting from my wonderful home here. And I am in my living room today, in my captain's chair, not in the office. I figured I would do that from here today, people. So that's okay. That's the view I'm looking for, right about here. I'm looking over here at myself here. You got the delay going. That looks good. That looks good. Okay. So yes, we are live, and I did say that we would be going live as soon as this would be streamed. And I actually made a couple of promises to some others in the chats a few days ago that I'd be doing this live again. All right. It says I have one watching right now. Hopefully you come on in here. So anyway, people, yeah, this is the INFJ Experience, as you know, and so my channel is pretty much devoted to the MBTI personality type. That's what I decided to choose for my niche. And so let's get Mr. Knight in there a little better. How's that? There we go. Just bring that up a little bit. So we got the Knight in there. How's that? Yeah, so my niche is basically the MBTI. It is basically, that's what it is. We are, so I've been on the air for about roughly 9 months, almost 9 months now. And so I try to, so I put out several videos so far. I do enjoy the channel. I do enjoy YouTube doing these because it's very beneficial. Not only do I feel it's beneficial just to have the channel, just to have the exposure and have the outlet for this, but also I feel as though it's an opportunity to give back, because I think a lot of times with the INFJ personality type, being that I've pretty much spent my life with this personality and not discovering it until later on, way later in my middle age, before I discovered what it is exactly. And since I've discovered exactly what it is, it's benefited me quite a bit. And like I'd say almost 4 years now I've discovered, and it's benefited me greatly. It's actually helped me along. It's helped me to discover, helped me to understand myself and understand that what exactly it is, what exactly the personality is. And it's helped me to understand so much about myself, the way I think, the way I process my mind, my thoughts, and the way I come to conclusions, make decisions, and things like that. So it's definitely benefited me in so many ways. Jethro, there he is. Jethro, how you doing? All right. Fist bump, man. Good to see you. Good evening, Tom. All right. Okay, we have 5 streaming right now. It's early on. Hopefully we'll start seeing people come on in here and start to join the chat. So yes, but bottom line is that's mainly what it is the personality is a very complex and deep personality as far as that goes. So it is something that really needs almost like an owner's manual. This particular personality does. Now, I could say most of the time, introverted intuitives have a very difficult time handling their mind in so many ways. Not to say other types don't have their difficulties, people. Everybody, all human beings have their setbacks, their drawbacks. They have their crosses to bear, of course, as you know. Now, certain personalities are that it's just the way they're built, the way their functions align. Some of them have it a little more difficult. Sometimes mainly introverted intuitives. Now, of course, the INFJ personality type, the way they are built, they especially have many of these drawbacks that keep them. Basically, it's a very confusing personality. Now, there are very enriching moments to have in this personality in the parts of their life, but until you are discovering yourself, when you finally understand the way your mind works and understand and have come to an acceptance of yourself, this is when your life actually starts to unfold for you. Now, I can only say that, people, because that's the story of my life. And I'd say in the last 4 years, like I said, as I've discovered it, it's helped me quite a bit. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to start this channel for that reason. All right. Okay, so we have Justina. Hello, Justina. Now, that's not your whole name. Your name is Tina, but it's just Tina. Like, I think I figured that out. Your name is Tina, though, okay? We see the souls instantly. Okay, that's nice. Hey, you left a comment on one of my videos, and I did read that. You put something out there. So, all right, that's awesome. So, yes, but that's mainly why I did this. I thought this is how I'm going to give back to the channel, to people. Okay, this is my way of assimilating. Now, assimilation, I think, is the final step after awareness. Assimilation is the stage in your life where you want to basically do what I'm doing. You want to give back. You want to point the finger and say, this is where I went. This is how I got here. This is what led me. And, this is how to get there. So a lot of times I think that's what we do. Now, not necessarily just an INFJ. This is very common with anybody that has a certain particular skill, a particular knowledge, maybe a spiritual guide, things like that. Yeah, they tend to mentor. They want to basically, give back in that way. Okay, and I think in a lot of ways this channel is my way of giving back to the INFJ community, to the MBTI type, to basically just guide us along, just kind of give us some kind of a direction. All right. Who do we have here? It's my real whole name. My princess name. Oh, your princess name. Oh, your princess? Okay. I think, should we all be princes and princesses? I guess, yeah, I am beyond that. I am a king. This is my throne right here. No, I'm only kidding, people. I can't go that far. I don't want to be like that. You know what? I like to stay humble. I mean, think about it. I got kind of like my kingship right here. I got my things around here that's just, I'm surrounded by my living room, my things. It's like, yeah, this is like my little kingdom, In a sense, we all should have our own little kingdom, you know what I mean? This is like the center of my universe, I guess. I mean, there is a center of the universe in the mind. I think we all have that version of that where we try to find our center. This is the key to who we are. We try to find our internal center. And I think a lot of times, this is going to steer me into something, people. I think with an INFJ personality type, we are always searching. We're at our mind a lot. It's just, all our functions are internal. They all point inward. Okay, they just do. So we're always thinking. A lot of times, we're so introverted, we can feel alone amongst other people. So we're a very lone soul. And we're just kind of left that way. And I think I steered on to some of the reasons as to why. But bottom line is, we're always looking for that center of our consciousness, our stillness, our mind. It's a way of finding center. When you find the center, you find your balance. If you're too far outside of your center, then you're out of balance. Kind of like that slide ruler. If you're one side or the other, you're kind of off. But finding that equal balance within your center, you center your entire life as well. So this is a physical manifestation of my outer center, the center of my world. Okay, how do you like that, huh? Okay, so Jethro, what did I missed? Let me see. We see the soul instantly. That limbo video was great. I think you should make a longer, in-depth video sometimes. It was an interesting opener. Really? Really? Okay. I have to let that play through and see how well that does. I think that was one I think I explained it how I threw that together. Listen, I was trying another video based on I had bullet points. I was going to do the row. It was about relationships. It was about being in relationships, and it wasn't happening. I wasn't feeling it. Occasionally, I try to ad lib. I mean, I come up with a certain amount of topics and I talk. I just fill in the gaps a little bit, and I don't write a whole script. I'm not reading a script behind me. I talk from my heart, and I try to keep it on task, on point, best I can. But I wasn't feeling it. I just wasn't. So I said, you know what? Then that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just going to make another video because I feel like I'm in limbo right now because I had this all planned out, this video, and I can't do this. Like, what do I do? I want a video. All right, gosh, I feel like I'm rerouting here. Like, because you make a plan. Because we're planners. We're organized. And all of a sudden, these plans fall through. What do you do? And I explained that in the video. That's basically what it is. I feel like that's that limbo point sometimes. And occasionally when we go into our bunker zones, occasionally when, maybe more than occasionally, sometimes in our life, we go into our zones and we need those isolation phases. And sometimes we're not necessarily making plans. Maybe we're making just our own internal plans. Maybe we're going to read a book. We're going to maybe go bike riding. We're going to do our plans. We're going to find things to keep us, to heal us. Let's just say we need to heal, okay? So we're going to find things that are going to help us to heal along. But a lot of times I think we're kind of half in limbo during these isolations as well, when we're in our bunker. But those limbo moments actually sometimes are like opening the channel. They're rerouting, just like that GPS, like something that has to reconfigure a new plan. And that's that little bit of a thought process. Because you're trying to reroute your life. I mean, that's a major state of limbo as well. So there you go, Jethro. You wanted me to expound a little bit on that? You just steered me into that. And things are just coming out as I'm speaking. I'm just talking like that. Yeah, but these limbo moments are part of our life. We have these because these limbo moments of not knowing where you are, not knowing exactly where you are. I mean, sometimes the not knowing and being in that state where you don't know is what helps you reach. It's like an internal spiritual reach for the right answer. Yeah. Sometimes it's okay to not know exactly where you're going. It's okay. Sometimes you can't always have that plan. I mean, everybody tells you got to be confident. You got to know exactly what you're doing, where you're going at every point in your life. To a point, you do. When it comes to certain tasks that you have to meet. But occasionally in your spirit, we find ourselves just like drifting on a raft out in the middle of nowhere. Like completely void of anything. Mainly completely alone in ourself and our mind, not knowing our next step. But these are those searching moments. These are those limbo moments that we are to basically search deeper for the meaning of our life, of our soul. We start asking questions. Maybe we start asking questions to ourselves. Listen, we've been introverted our whole life trying to figure things out. Maybe if we started this at 5 years old when we didn't have our parents around, okay? This is where it came from. And we looked within that. Maybe we were left alone to our device. Listen, I've done that. I know I've done that. I can't quite remember every little detail of being 5, but there was setbacks. And we learned that we looked deep within our own mind. And that's where we became introverted to the begin with. You're tapping back into your origin in a sense. When you go into these isolations, into these limbo moments. You have to isolate, you have to be alone, you can't talk, you gotta go within. That's that state. And sometimes you don't have to physically come up with extroverted sensing things to constantly stimulate you. You want to find these answers within yourself. They may not come right away, but they will. eventually they will be revealed to you at the time and the opportunity when you're ready to accept them and understand exactly what they are. Yeah, that's bottom line, people. Okay. What's the moving in the background? What do you mean the moving? Who's Hello there, Shane. Okay, I'm gonna check out this. Let me check out some of your comments here. What do we got going on here? Just right, pretty much. Just Tina. Okay, and we got here Shane H 7211. Hello, Shane. You are new to the channel, new to the live. I want to welcome you, and you're asking me what is the moving in the background. Now, are you talking about the? I mean, well, I got my knight over here. I've got the flag. I've got the sword. That's a sword. That's a Conan the Barbarian sword in the corner over here. All right. And me, I'm in a rocking chair. This is my rocking chair. This is where I broadcast occasionally. This is just my spot. Yeah, that's all. This is like my center of of my world here, right? John Schotter, how are you? Hello. I just hopped in. What is the live about? Hello there, Eden. Eden 4741. The live is about the INFJ Experience. I am basically the host of, we're hosting MBTI live, and we talk about personality types. And we focus particularly on the one that is the rarest, and that would be the INFJ. And that's mainly what the genre is on this channel. It's about that. But we can talk a lot about anything. Talk about psychology, about physics, science, things that interest us. And now, if you have a question, even a concern about maybe, even if something's bothering you, if you have a concern or you want an answer, you got a question, I'll try to help you out. I'll troubleshoot it. I'm here for self-help as well. Not necessarily the INFJs, for people that want to reach out. And if you have a believable, concern, if there's something bothering you, I'll do the best I can to come up with a conclusion or an answer. We could talk about it. And listen, I'm sure some of the chat will help you. So watch what some of the responses are in chat, because, yeah, they all have brilliant ways of thinking. Trust me. Yeah, we do. Okay. So yeah, hello. Okay, got that. And John, he's got the eyes going. You come in with the eyes, John. I see that. All right. So that's basically it. So this is, like I said, I wanted to do this here. All right. But we got our core coming in here. We got some new people coming on in, and that's good. But yeah, that's basically what it is. I just talk about about our mind, about the way we just our life and our experience, in this world, and how we cope with certain things as we're going on, trying to function in this world. And that's basically it. So, okay, we got 9. We got things going on here. The things are starting to happen. Okay, thank you. I have a question. Okay, I have a question. Let me read your question. Yeah. So, Eden. Eden. Okay. Thank you. I have a question. Every time I've done the MBTI test, I've always been an INFJ, and I always felt that I was misplaced, sort of. Do you feel that sometimes? Absolutely. Listen, that's a good question. And I think that's very typical. INFJs typically always question their type. I did that for the longest time. I aligned so much with the personality type. I seemed to had so much in common with it. I'd watch for certain videos that were close to being close to it. And I'd think, okay, I'd watch them. And I was just very, very much aligned with them. But then I thought, but it's so rare. How could I be that rare? Amongst men, it is less than 1% of men. And I think of the ratio and think how unbelievably rare it is. It's rare as it is. Men and women, it's still rare. But amongst men, it's even more rare. I thought, there's no way. There's no way I'm like less than 10 in 1,000 men on average are an INFJ. That can't be that rare. So yes, it's a good question, because we are always second guessing it, doubting it, and questioning it, because we're perfectionists. And we want that perfect answer. We want a perfect scenario. And a lot of times we're difficult to accept that as well. because we're always thinking there's one more thing I'm not convinced about. So that's basically it, if that helped you. All right, that's very typical. But if you tested several times as INFJ, but let me ask you this, Eden, if you've tested and you believe that you're mistyped, now what is it that you think? Do you think you're not? Do you think you're not as emotional as you should be? Maybe you don't plan as much. I mean, what is it that would make you doubt that? Is there something, one of your functions that you don't align with? I mean, I'm just asking. All right. Okay. So, in the sense so Eden, in a sense that I don't always feel like the other INFJs. Okay, got that. And just Tina. Yes, Eden, that happens to us. A sign you were a real one. There you go. See, it's just typical because you're questioning it. Yes, or you may be an INFP, Eden. Yeah, could be. That's why I'm saying if there's something that's, I don't feel like I belong to anything but an INFJ. Yeah. Now listen, I've done a video on this. Okay, Eden. You can use the YouTube to help you out. I mean, if you're off just a little bit, and if you want to explore that, you could even start listening to other content creators. Maybe look at an INFP, look at an INTJ, INTP. If you're probably introverted intuitive, that's probably something. You probably know you're introverted. You've always felt more comfortable being alone. You're probably intuitive. Some of these are easy to figure out, but it's usually those last on the end. Whether or not you have the perceiving or the judging or the thinking or the feeling. Sometimes, because INFJs, a lot of times with their thinking and feeling, we're both. We're very logical, and we're feelers. We have emotional intelligence, but we're also very logical, and we think with our mind, and so we have a little bit of both. So even though you may be on the F side of that particular function, you can still find traits of logic as well. So yeah, that's why the confusion might be coming out. And of course, that's your mind trying to piece together, trying to solve that equation in a sense, because we're always trying to piece our minds together. All right, and we're trying to figure this out. So it's good that you're questioning that. All right, let me see. Okay, John. I don't feel like I belong to anything but an INFJ. Neither do I. Yeah, it's the same with me. All right. But you might find out if you watch these other videos, let's say on these other types that are just one or so functions off, you'll say, that doesn't sound like me. That's not typical. That's not a good description of me. And then you might watch something, and if they don't align with you, go back to the INFJ, like come up, watch my content, maybe watch other INFJ content. And then you say, oh, that definitely sounds like me. Okay, this is my personality. You'll see that you'll eventually have to come to an acceptance of that. But a lot of times when you finally figure it out, a lot of times is acknowledgement. When you acknowledge it, and and then you have to find a level of acceptance and just say, okay, this is what I am. Okay, this is a massive puzzle a riddle to my. This solved a huge riddle in my life by just knowing how I think and how my alignments are. All right, we never do. We do never thought of it, or INFJ, or INTJ. Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, just Tina. Yeah, I mean, it's a possibility. Like I said, I just welcome to explore some of these other types, and just narrow it down. It's just a matter of narrowing and funneling it down till you get your right type. That's really how you do that. Okay? Yeah. I mean, it's basically as simple as that. But then a lot of times those nagging questions will still go on. Even though you kind of narrow it down and accept it, sometimes you're still going to question it. Okay? Yeah, it's never quite a concrete, like total believable thing that you're going to have there. Okay? When I found that out too, I said, oh, that's all typical? So it's typical. Somebody else mentioned that too. I saw another video where they're always questioning their types, INFJs. It's like, that's typical. So what makes me doubt that I would watch INFJ content, and then I would listen to what they say, and I feel like that's not what I would do. but I take the test about once every 6 months. Yeah, that's what I do too. Okay, Eden. I take it every so often as well. I came up as an INTJ once, and I figure that's common too. A lot of times, INFJs they might test and occasionally come up as a TJ, and there might be just one letter, one question about your feeling or something. Maybe you answered a question where you just had a little less feeling. It might have been one or two questions that swayed you over to the T side, and I did that once. But every other one were INFJ. So yeah, me too, John. So John said he doesn't align with anything else but the INFJ as well. Yeah, okay. Hey, neither did I. I narrowed it down as much as I could. But even now, I still question it. I still do, even now. But the thing is also, understand too that a lot of times when you start conversing and you're talking to INFJs like we are now, when you're in that, you have a certain level of understanding where you understand people that think like you. I mean, no two INFJs don't have the same personality. I mean, gosh, I'm a man. I'm who I am. I have my interests. I have my background. I have the way I grew up. My experiences led me to a certain unique human being, a unique person. Okay, everybody's got their unique habits, qualities, beliefs. Spiritual beliefs, political beliefs, whatever it might be, societal beliefs. So we're not all cookie cutter. We don't all think the same way, but we have an alignment that keeps us making decisions and reasoning out and rationaling things out in our own way. That is a bond that's similar. And that's how all the MBTI works. All these other types are similar in that way as well. There's 16 types. But that's basically how it boils down. I mean, we're not supposed to be a mirror and be exactly like anybody else, okay? And we could be from any race, creed, gender, like I said, religious background, anything around the world. They're everywhere. I mean, they're spread out pretty thin, okay? But, yeah, they're all as unique as anything, you know what I mean? Speaking their own language in their own world and their own countries. Okay, so we're everywhere. We mirror. And then let us know, Eden. Okay, so basically, I mean, that's a way to tell, though, Eden. Just kind of explore a couple of the other types. Like I said, so Justina's trying to help you out a little bit, too. She's throwing some suggestions out there. But that's a good way of doing it. And we mirror, yeah. Nice. Well, we have 10 watching. Hello, 10 out there watching. A lot of you I've seen a bit before. We can chameleon everybody too. Yeah, that's what I mean. There's a very complex way that, you're never seeing. Two people may have a different description of the INFJ. They're not the same in front of different people. You could be one way at work. You could be one way at your, let's say you go to church or your social function, whatever, and you're a certain way there. Maybe you hang out with your friends, you're different with them. And you might be with your family, you're different there. Yeah, so we're like different people to different groups as well. We're never quite the same. So yeah. Oh yeah. I am transformed when I was a kid. I am a transformer when I was a kid. Oh, like the Transformers? Is that what was that one of your things you mean like the cartoon Transformer, John? Okay. And cool, John. I feel that, Justina. Yeah. So I hope that helped you out, though. All right. But there are ways of narrowing it down. See, just the idea that you are questioning your mind and questioning and want to look deeper into your personality type is an indication you probably are an INFJ. Because I think we're fascinated with the MBTI. INFJs, when they discover this system and discover their type, they're fascinated because it opens up a huge amount of doors. Because that's all we do is try to discover ourselves, find out about ourselves, because we're so lost so many times. Especially when we're younger, confusion, being tugged in so many different ways, having our emotions and our heart and our logic tugged away with confusion so much through our life when we're younger, especially. And when you've been given a large piece of a puzzle, a large something, large thing to chew on. All of a sudden, it's like exactly what you've been looking for to figure yourself out. That's what the MBTI is to an INFJ. And if you are interested and want to find out more about your type and want to look more into your personality, that's a good indication too, as well, Eden, because you're exploring. You want to know. So that's an indication that that you're questioning it. So this is because this was my journey as well. I did the very same thing, and I was not convinced for years. All right, we doubt ourselves, yes, and also absolutely, Janice. So hey, Justin, how long you been out there, Justin? Would I consider INFJs doubting? Well, let me say, Justin, would you consider INFJs the doubting Thomas type? Is that a pun intended? That's my name, Tom, right? The doubting Thomas. Absolutely. Yes, we are. By no doubt about it. Yes, we're the doubters, okay? Definitely the doubting Thomases, huh? Yeah, especially with a guy named Tom. He's gonna question everything, right? Hi, Tom. I just got here. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's cool, Justin. I see that. I'm looking at your question out there. I saw that, right? Yeah, this is we got them in here, right? So we got 11 watching. So, no, that's great. That's great. Hey, you know what? Maybe in a little bit we'll crack a beer. I did say I was going to do that. We kind of said that, but I'm just waiting for the right moment. I don't want to do that too early here. Maybe sip a beer in a little bit. Just well, when everybody's ready for the right moment, we can do that. If you want to, you can now. I mean, I'm just going to hold off for a little bit, but so we got you and me, 007 plus 19. You and me plus 007. You mean as in James Bond 007? Hey, that's a cool handle you got there. You and me 007. I have been told I am an outside of the box kind of person. Okay. Yeah, that's it. And hey, Harp's in the house. Hey, Harp just came on in here. Hey, hello there, Harp. Yeah, I guess that's basically if you're an INFJ and you tested that way, INFJs are definitely not a conventional mind, not a conventional thinking mind, and I've covered that as well. I mean, we're just not like, even if we try to be like other people, I mean, even just our language might give it away. We have a very strong command of language, strong command of just our senses around us, and a lot of times people just know right away. You're not like them. Yeah, you tend to be outside the box. So yes, it's true. All right. So that was 007. I like that. This is 007. If you don't mind, I'm going to call you 007. That's your nickname, like the James Bond, because that if I see that again, okay. You and me, 007. Okay, 7 times 19. I'm going to call you that. All right. Okay, so we got, I have some Coors Banquet beers at home. I may have to step away for a few minutes, but I'll be back. I'll be back, huh? Yeah, next thing you know, you're going to be Mozart. You know what I mean? I'm only kidding. I couldn't resist. You know what I mean? Hey, sometimes I can be funny, At least I feel funny sometimes, Hey, INFJ's got to let loose a little bit too. You got to have fun. Listen, I'm going to try to help. I'm going to try to be a little bit of a source of inspiration here, but I'm going to have fun too. We're going to have a little fun here. We got to. We got to hang out a little bit, all right? I'm watching from work and using my message gun. Oh, you're at Harp? You're at work, Harp? Listen, man, don't let the boss see you watching this. I mean, don't do something where it's going to get you in trouble, okay? I mean, I know you probably want to see the live and all that, but please don't get in trouble. We'll be doing this for a bit, though. I said I was going to be out here for a bit, okay? So just be careful, all right? I hit a new personal record last night of 224 pounds on the squat bar. Whoa, gee, okay. Yeah, 224. I mean, all right. And Harp, hello, Jethro and others in the chat. There you go. Nice. Well, but anyway, see how that happened? You ask a quick question, and right away, you give my mind something to do. My mind is just itching to do something like that, Hey, you know what? Sometimes when my mind gets itchy like that, the only thing I can do to scratch is think of sandpaper. No, come on, I'm kidding. That's a bad joke. I'm sorry, people. That's awful. That's awful. Yeah. So anyway, but as far as the questions, yes, as long as you question your type, and you're questioning whether or not you are an INFJ truly, yeah, chances are you really are. And plus, you're wanting to know more about yourself. These are good indications because rarely do other types. There could be other types that don't care. They might hear, okay, I'm an ESFP. They might take interest depending on who they are. But a lot of times, they're not going to look into it too far. Maybe they may or may not care. Now, I can't generalize everybody, but there's certain types that really, the ones that are trying to figure themselves out, trying to figure out who they are. These are the ones that have had sufferings in their life. The ones that have had a confusing mind in their life, through their life, are going to want to know more about themselves. And this is the INFJ type. This is a quintessential type that's going to do just that. All right, we're going to want to know everything we can about our types as well. Okay. Oh, by the way, so tomorrow, let's see. I do have another video on tap for tomorrow. It's actually, I think it's a good one. It's called. I'm going to give you a preview on it, people, because you're right here. All right. It's called Inferior or Superior, SE. Okay. I basically go into the whole extroverted sensing and how. You know how it's usually commonly said that it's the last on the function, it's the fourth in the function line, and typically with an INFJ and the INTJ, okay, these are the only two that have weak inferior extroverted sensing. It's their least dominant function. Of course, IT is their most dominant function. But in certain situations, I'm going to tell you that it may be inferior in some ways, but it is superior in other ways, where we have a heightened way of our extroverted sensing. Mainly what that is because we have an ability to gather information, and we look at very fine, small details in order to find it, let's say. In other words, like for an example, I mean, if you're walking into a room, you're picking up the vibes, you're trying to feel the tone of the room. You're using your empathy. You're using your senses as well. Everything's starting to come to life, and you're going to start looking at real small details. I mean, you might look at the way people are dressed. You might even look at the carpet, see how well it's how well it is vacuumed, or is it not vacuumed so well? I mean, you might look at how clean the windows are, just to get an idea of something. You see? So you might look at these small little traits to get a piece, and maybe you might look at somebody to see how well they're put together, how well they are presenting themselves, talking, how well, and of course in the conversation you're going to be looking for their cues, their facial expressions, their mannerisms, their moods, the way they might smile or not smile during what they say. You're looking for genuineness. You're looking to see if they're truthful. See? Now this is where I think these small traits that we go through as INFJs, this is where we have a very heightened sense of extroverted sensing, because we are gathering through our senses in order to basically put that into our introverted intuition, so we can start deciphering. We can decipher the world around us. We can decipher our people and things around us, and we're very good at seeing these small details, very small details. Now, this is where I say we're superior, and we have a superior way of gathering information, I should say. Basically, that's what it's about. That's basically what the next video is about. But I mean, I go into a little bit better detail, but that's kind of like what it is. Okay, I don't want to give it away too much, but that'll be airing tomorrow. But actually, that was a decent video that I liked making that one as well. Okay, so I'm gonna check out. Okay, let's see. Okay, John. Would INFJs have grandiose views? Would INFJs have grandiose view? I need a little help on that one. A grandiose view? I think it all depends on what they're viewing exactly. Now I'm trying to figure out exactly. Harp, how much longer are you at work? for 4 more hours. Oh, he's working. Oh yeah, that's right. You're in West Coast time, so it's still it's almost 9 here. It's like, yeah, but still he's working late tonight, it looks like. I'm trying to think. Do INFJs have grandiose views? I think they could be tempted to. I guess it depends. I mean, I hope that myself. I usually try to keep myself humbled down. I don't like to think too highly of myself. I really don't. I try to humble myself and try to remain as humble as I can. I think being grandiose, it can turn delusional. All right, it can turn that way, especially if you tell yourself you're grandiose. I think a lot of times it's up to us to understand that we're all on. We're not better than anybody else. I mean, you can be confident. It's good to have confidence. It's good to have a sense of command in who you are. Understand yourself. Understand who you are. But you really got to kind of keep it on. You got to keep your feet on the ground as well. You don't want to feel like you're above anybody. Even our Lord and Savior told us that. There was a passage in the Bible where he actually, he stooped and washed the feet of the other disciples as a token to say that even though he was rabbi, they were looking at him as, this guy could heal and he could bring eyesight to the blind. But he made it a point that he was still, low enough where he was like bathing the feet of the. I know it sounds a little strange. I get that, but it says that in one of the passages. But I think the point is that he was trying to stoop to make sure that he was not, he was not an ego. He didn't want to put himself on a higher plane. Okay, so that was kind of an example from the Lord Himself, that we got to keep ourselves humble. Okay, now let's see. Superior SE sounds fascinating. Go on. I explained it. Like, the video will be airing tomorrow, Harp. Okay, and it's actually I go into pretty good detail in the video as well. I think it's like about 16 minutes long. It's a good video. All right, grandiosity isn't exclusive to any type. Is the better answer? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Anybody can have. It's not just an INFJ or anybody can have grandiose visions and things like that. Of course. But no, I just was giving it my take on, like, personally how I look at it. Okay. Well, we had a couple nights ago, we had somebody enter the chat. I think a couple of you remember that. Came in basically saying, "Oh, I'm superior. Oh, I think I'm superior." Whoever was not there, we remember that. Vamp Fox is in the house. Hello, morning, afternoon, good evening to the Breakfast Club. Yes, the Breakfast Club. And right now, I know. Okay, I'm going to say right now. Let's see. It's probably to you. It's 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here. It's 10 minutes to 9, and I'm going to guess it's right around 1 or 2 in the afternoon where you are, Vamp, in Australia, in Queensland, Australia, Vamp. I'm going to say something like that. Good point, John. Okay, John. All right. Well, thanks. But I'm just trying to answer some questions here. Okay, Eden, 70. Hello, Eden. What inspired you to start content on INFJ people? Well, you get some good questions. You have excellent questions, Eden. I got to tell you that. Basically because I wanted to make a YouTube channel. I was thinking of a different one. I wanted to go on human nature. The human animal psychology. I wanted to basically get into the psychology of what makes us work and how we think. All right, and because I think a lot of times human beings are lost. You look at the dysfunction of the world. I mean, human beings are crazy. A lot of times we're insane without even knowing it. And I think there's got to be some kind of balance that human beings got to find themselves. And I started one channel, and I didn't really go too far with it. And then I said, why not just come up with the INFJ? I got to find out something I'm good at. And then I thought, hey, you know what? It helped me. Because, Eden, now that you asked, that I actually discovered the MBTI through a YouTube channel on an algorithm. I was actually led there. And it was Wen's. I've told this story before. Wennis, if anybody's heard of her, she's a sweet young girl. She's an INFJ, and she does her own channel. She's very successful. She's made a whole career out of her channel, I guess. But she started doing. There was a video on, why are INFJs like hanging out with them is like being on drugs. That was basically what it was, and I identified with it. I started watching more of her content, and then I started watching other channel content on the same thing, and it was like everything was me. Everything was just pointing to me, and I just got really enthralled with it. And I got to tell you, also there was some things where they talked about the sadness of the INFJ. They talk about how we always have a sadness in our heart. We always tap back into a certain level of sadness. It's almost like our safe zone in a way. I mean, because that's all that really, because we're so alone in our head. We're so alone in that isolated world that we have. And nobody understands us. We're so isolated there. When I heard that, I bawled my eyes out. I just said, "Oh my God!" I'm like, right in front, right alone in my house. I start bawling. I'm like, that's me. So I thought, why not just do INFJ? Okay, because it helped me. It helped me find it helped me find it through an algorithm. I'm thinking, hey, if it's gonna help another INFJ, if I can reach out there and they start figuring themselves out, and it's a guide, it's a help, why not? Then that'll be something I could do. That's the answer, basically. Yeah. So that's it. But that's an excellent question, I must say. Evening, Tom. INF 357. INF 357. Oh, hey, that's cool. Evening, Tom. Quick question. What's the difference of a Sigma and an INFJ? Okay. Well, that's a good questions you got out there. All right. Well, anyway, INF 357. You mean as in like the gun, the Magnum? Is that a caliber? I'm just saying, INF, instead of the J, it's the, okay. Okay, back to your question. I'm going to say that typically what it is the INFJ is, well, we're lone wolves, as you know. We have to be, we're introverted, we're intuitive, and a lot of times through the course of our life, we're still figuring ourselves out. When we're young, we're forging on, and we're learning, and we're developing ourselves. And so we spend a lifetime. The INFJ experience, the INFJ life, which is an experience, and that's why I call it that, it's a lifetime. Now, I think that a lot of times through the course of the life, we're still very confused about who we are. We want to kind of fit in with others. We might look for validation. We might look for friendships and relationships. We want to matter. We want somebody to love us, to be our somebody. How many times I've been through a lot of girlfriends when I was younger. I must admit, I went through my phase. I've had girlfriends in my life, and I was always trying to find the one, the soulmate, as you might say. But I mean, I was built different. I couldn't maintain long-term relationships. Now, I've discussed that on the channel before. But, okay, I'm running away. But the Sigma part, okay, most of the time through our life, we're looking for validation. My point is that we spend a lot of our time seeking and looking for approval, seeking other people to validate us. We're looking to find an explanation for us. We're confused a lot, yes. But at a point in our life, we begin to get solidified in a way. We start changing as an INFJ. Now, I think most INFJs are just geared that way anyway. And INTJs, most of your introverted intuitive types are geared to being Sigmas because of the fact that they're so introverted and they're intuitive as well. It's all part of the package. And of course, being that we're introverted thinkers as well. Now, I think what happens is you reach a certain awakening. You go through your awakening. Finally, an INFJ will start to season. They'll start to get wise, and they'll know the patterns of their life. Their entire life experience is just one giant learning experience as well. They have memories. They know things that have hurt them before. They know they've looked for certain things they can't find, and they know that they forge on through their life. But they realize that they're alone. Their isolation, their solitude is what they depend on. They rely on. And so they start having a bond. They find a bond. They don't in themselves. they start to finally understand that deep introversion within their soul, that loneliness that we've had from being isolated, from being sad, all of a sudden becomes their greatest source of refuge. Yes, that is the moment I think the Sigma is awake, is when they understand that is a refuge place at that point there. Okay? And once these INFJ realizes that, and they don't need validation, that their validation is within that safe space, within that place that they hid from before that was so sad there, becomes their greatest strength. And then they start excuse me, let me think of the right word. They start to emanate from that spot. Basically, their life changes. They start becoming one with their own introversion, and it gathers them strength, and they become a source of their own hyper independence as well. So that lone wolf, which was the INFJ, basically transforms into the Sigma, metamorphoses in a sense into the Sigma. And this is usually after your awakening. This is a lot of it, I think, it's a spiritual awakening as well. It's spiritual and it's psychological, and it's just an understanding you found a bondship with that your inner self, and it became your greatest source of revenue. Basically, you finally figured yourself out. That's when the Sigma is born. That moment, okay. And a lot of it has to do with acceptance. You have to just understand yourself. You have to accept who you are. You are a lone wolf. You've been alone. You've tried to assimilate into the world. You've tried it, and it doesn't work for you. You drift back to solitude. And you have to kind of understand that's what you are. And you go there. All right? Okay. All right, let me read some of your comments here. Okay, so I hope I answered that question for you. Okay? I hope that helped them. I don't want to lose anybody's. I hope that's cycling up pretty good. Thanks, Tom. Okay, 357, Mr. Magnum. Hey, how do you like that? Magnum, huh? Oh, 357. Okay, I know Dirty Harry hit 44 Magnum, 357 Magnum. Oh, that's a powerful. That is a powerful round, man. That thing. You fire a few out of a round like that. I mean, I tell you, unless if you don't have gloves, if you're not used to it, man, that'll give you blisters on a hand. But that's a potent round right there. Okay, so Vampfox hidden. That's cool. I went for a massage myself yesterday and left my shoulder blade. Oh, you got him had a massage gun. On my second awakening, Justina. On my second awakening, second one, huh? All right. Usually, I think a lot of times we go through small awakenings through our life, Justina. Okay? I think a lot of times we're forging on. We're going through, but there becomes an awakening that pushes you into peace, complete peace and complete contentment. And you don't need validation anymore. You really don't. And it's you'll see that level. But I think there's many Excuse me, people. I think there's many stages of our awakening. Yeah, we can go through stages like that as well. Okay, all right. We're doing well. We're doing very well here. So, yeah. What are you saying? What you're saying makes sense. A lot of Heidegger being in the world. What is that? Eden. What is Heidegger? Okay. But I tend to be high functioning and try to make positive habits. Okay, I missed some of your comments. I'm trying to get caught up on things here, people. That's all. Okay, all right. See, you ask me a question like that. You give me a question, and then it just perks me right up. I'm like, yes, I want to talk about this. You give me ideas. You see, this is what the live does for me. You know what I mean? All right, so people, so we got that going on here. Okay. Disposition and melancholy. Where are we? I'm trying to get up here a little bit. I'm trying to for some reason, I don't have my little scroll bar. Here we go. I got to get the scroll bar. I want to back it up a little bit so I can see some of these. It's not letting me, for some reason, I'm not. Okay. I can't. Okay. Vamp my left shoulder. Okay, about that. The massage gun. Got that. I saw that message as well. But bottom line is that's a lot of what we end up going through here. Is that's how the Sigma basically, and if you found that, I mean, I think it all depends on the level that I think INFJs, I think most introverted intuitive types, it is all a forging process in their life. And just as, let's just say the same thing, you could almost make the same argument that in a way when let's say a monk goes into their monastery and they spend all this time looking inward and praying and meditating and they don't talk. I mean, these are forging moments of their life for the monk. And a lot of times they put themselves into these monasteries. Some people do that so that they can be away from the world. They can have some kind of a refuge where they try to find themselves because, yeah, that's just where they're geared. They're geared that way for whatever reason. And I think a lot of times INFJs can be geared that way. I can imagine seeing a lot of these monks that do that are INFJs. I do honestly believe that that's where a lot of them are geared. And they do these things. And they want to find that sense of peace within themselves. And they've finally, because I think a lot of times INFJs are just built this way anyway. I think in a lot of ways, being this type is almost like our own monastery is our mind. Our own introversion and our isolation is our built-in mental monastery in a sense. I know we still have the world to deal with. Now, a lot of times you get these guys that, or guys and girls, people, men and women go to monasteries. But a lot of times they feel the pressure, the outside pressure of the world that's always influencing them, tempting them, pulling them to sin, let's say, because they're seeing it. Maybe they're tempted. And they just need to get away from that. And they have these urges going on, these sensual, carnal urges that are going on. So they need these monasteries to get away from it, to isolate them, so they can deal with these animalistic urges that they go. Now, I think a lot of times we all have them. We are half animal after all, but it's a lot of it's up to us getting a grip on these animalistic urges, having control over them, because we are spiritual, but we're also animal, or a hybrid. I've said that before, people. I mean, we have an animal body with all the urges an animal has. A wolf has the same drive and urges. That's an animal, but it doesn't have a spirit. Most animals don't have a spirit. They don't have that link. They are not fused with their own with their spirit, though. We are. Man is basically the grandest opus of the Creator. God made us in His image, and He made us to have His mind, to think like He did. He gave us the ability to see His majesty, to understand the depths of His creation in every intricate form. And we find that within our mind. We can see this. Yes, He gave us that ability, but He also gave us a way of reasoning. He gave us the way of our heart to reason, to troubleshoot as well. Okay? The compassion. He gave us all these elements. And it's up to us to discover this. And a lot of times when we become, the closer we get to our consciousness and our awakening, and the closer we get to that kingdom within us, these things start awakening. The compassion, the clarity, the mental clarity, the spiritual clarity just start to emanate out through you. Okay? But basically, that's where your journey's supposed to lead. These are the ultimate, beyond the awakening parts of where you end up going. Okay, you do. All right. So we got. Okay, we have. What do we have here? Vamp. Okay. Hidden. Can I reach the spot alone? So, you're talking about massages. Oh, okay. All right. The animal part of me really likes food. Harp. Yes. Vamp. Appointment. Okay. Vamp, that sounds like a good discount. It's not like the conversations you have together. That's what this is, of course. So I just took the test again. Windows. We got, Windcrow. Excuse me, Windcrow. Hello, Windcrow. That's a new name out here. You took the test again after years of not taking it. And I feel like my experiences would have changed my type to something else. But I still got INFJ. It really must be fate. Yeah, a lot of times we think, I've got that question before. Can we change types? Yeah. Types change? Can you, over the course of your life, become less of a feeler and more of a thinker? Things like that, or more of a, instead of being a judger, can you be more of a, like a perceiver? Can you be more spontaneous? Can you see things in a more of a perceiving way? Yeah, I guess you can't. You either are or you aren't. You're not two types. Some people think they can change, but typically it is who you are. And you can start training your mind and start doing things out of unconventional to what an INFJ would be. But it's you kind of just going against the stream. I mean, as long as it's not into a dark face, yeah. But no, we typically are. A lot of times we are who we are. But in the course of our life, though, we do change. We might be less accommodating. A lot of times, we might be over accommodating to our family, to our friends, to certain people early on in our life. But then we get more reserved. We start realizing that this this energy that we're spending to accommodating is draining us when we go and try to accommodate others. Yeah, it's a depletion. It's eating into our autonomy. It's eating into our own peace when you're constantly trying to do that. And I think eventually we figure that out. Just we do. As we get older, we know it's like our peace is more. You have to make sure that you maintain your peace, maintain your autonomy, and maintain your energy level without appeasing people. If you can reach that, as long as it's not depleting you, then that's okay to help to try to reach out, but not at the detriment of your own internal peace and your own internalness. Okay, so you got to remember that too. I hope that answered it. Okay, but no, we typically don't change types. Okay, all right. Anyway, that was a great question though, Wind Crow. And so okay, 007. What does strangers come up to INFJs and tell us about their life? Why do strangers come up to us and tell us about their life? Apparently, we're natural counselors. You know what? I ever since I kind of turned and ever since I figured out what the type was, I tried to ask that question, like if what exactly that was, and thought, do I do that? I remember trying to, a lot of times you try to look into your own history and remember, did people used to spill their guts to me, tell me things? And there were a couple of times I remember telling, like thinking, why did they tell me all that? Why did they? And then I'd always conclude that must be just the way they are. They tell everybody stuff. I used to think that. They must do that to everybody they meet. They spill their guts to everybody. And I thought, that's how I troubleshot it. It was just them. And then I find out people do that. And I'm like, I didn't know. But you're asking why they do that. I think the idea is because we have empathy, and a lot of times it's because when you're into I think a lot of times if you're in your dark shadows and you're acting kind of jerkish, sometimes INFJs can be jerky. They can, if they're in their shadow moments, they can be not very nice people. I think I've drifted into shadows in my life where I've kind of been, at work and I got kind of being a jerk, said things that got insultive or like petty and things. I think we have that in us. People aren't going to open up to you like that. But when you have an INFJ that's in good alignment and they're out of that, maybe they're in their zone, okay, and they're decent, all right. People sense that. It's just the same way that empathy. I mean, we detect empathy. A lot of times we detect people's emotions. We absorb them. Well, we're also emanating certain feelings out. We're emanating certain part of us outward. And so people are detecting and absorbing the fact that we're trustable, that they can trust us. Yeah, it's a psychological, it's a human nature bond. And when you're in a good frame of mind, people are going to tell you these things because they're feeling it as well, okay? It's a cause and effect. Okay? See, this is what I mean. A lot of times they tell you about certain things. We absorb energy, we take it in, and if we don't know we're doing it, it can, you know what I mean, right? But I'm saying that just like a cog in a wheel, when one spins this way and then the other gear will spin the other way, okay? Because you have that cause and effect, and then it'll cause another gear, and then all of a sudden you have multiple gears spinning each other, right? But they're always doing it on opposite reverse, like a weave. That's the same thing with our empathy. We're absorbing, we're feeling it, but we're also transmitting it out. So it's a cause and effect. They don't tell you that part. Yes, we can, I think everybody has this level of empathy, but a lot of people don't know that. Okay? But sometimes most people just, even that, there's a certain level of that they're picking up. But certain types of people will reveal it. Not everybody. Depends on where there is, what their level is. Okay? I hope that answered your question. All right? Okay, but that's a very good question. But that's one of the reasons. Oh my gosh. Hey, all right. Now, where were we? Believe animals are drawn to us? Absolutely. And babies. Animals are drawn. It's our energy. This is very true despite how much I want to help. There'll be other natural, there for others. Naturally, I have been needing more and more of my space and peace. Yeah, a lot of times, like I said, it's okay to help people, but don't let it drain you, not at your detriment. And that's the regulation you need to discover. And I think this happens in our wisdom. Okay, yeah, because we learn a lot about ourselves through the course of our life, and we have to know that. Yes, absolutely. I've heard many stories from people. There's when I meditate and fall asleep. Okay, I'm trying to get some of these earlier comments as well. Why is it not letting me cycle up? Okay. Vamp, it's amazing. I used to do that with magpies at my old house when I was younger. They would swoop down. They terrifying birds in summer, birds because they protect their young, but they wouldn't hurt me. I always had a certain thing with the animals. It depends on if I'm in a good frame of mind. Like I said, I mean, if I'm in shadows, I mean, they detect that too. If you're in a bad place and you're not in a good mood, yeah, because we do change. Those dark sides can come out in us, and then we're not likable. Yeah, people will avoid us. Animals and babies will cry if they see you. So that we do have that capability too. I mean, trust me, I've been all over the place, but I know that when I'm in a good frame of mind and I'm clear and I'm all in my good functions, yeah, people are drawn and people will open up to you. As I would feed them. Yeah, all right. Well, they maybe figure out that you're not threatening. I've noticed that bugs, sometimes I've even had relationships with like wild spiders. Like there was a spider in my house that I would, wet a Q-tip. I mean, I wouldn't kill the spider because I figure it's good to have a spider and spiders in your house. They eat the bugs that you don't want in your house. We're talking about bugs. Sometimes you get those ones you don't like, and they'll take care of it. They kind of clean the house, so it's okay to keep your spiders in there, as long as they're not, overpowering the place. But there was this one spider. I haven't seen it in a long time. I think it finally passed on, but I had this like friendship like with this spider. Like I assured it that I would never kill it. And I used to wet a Q-tip and let it drink water. Sometimes it would start drinking water. And after a while, it just started, like it would show up. Right before I didn't see it again, it would just show up in the middle of my kitchen floor. Like it didn't know how else to approach me. It's so small. It's only this big. How does it let you see it? Well, it would show up on my floor and just stay there. Like right where I'd be walking, and I looked down, and it was my spider. It was like a friend. It was funny. I had this, and I'd wet this Q-tip, and I put it there, and she'd drink. I'm gonna guess it was a female. Most of the females, they're spiders, and she'd drink the water, And then after a little bit, I'd just kind of talk. Hey, how you been, huh? I would talk like in a soothing voice, and then that thing would just kind of mosey off under the stove, And it would come out every so often and let me give her a drink. It's on the Q-tip. And I finally just, like I said, it must have passed on. I haven't seen her probably in 6 months. And I just didn't see her anymore. All right. They have only a certain shelf life. What do they live, about a year? They only live about a year and a half, 2 years, whatever it is. But anyway, but little things like that. I mean, I think sometimes I would never just tell people that, but I mean, they might think they're whacked for that. That's kind of crazy, right? That sounds crazy, but I mean, I do know that there was a connection there. This thing trusted me, and I think spiders, as small as they are, they may be that big. They still, they have a sense of knowing who's good and who's not going to hurt them, and that, right? But yeah, and there was a couple times. Oh, one time I found I was going to take a shower, and that spider would go in the shower sometimes. I think I'd go in there and kind of maybe look for droplets of like used water or something. And one time I saw her in there, and I didn't want to like drown her, so I scooped her up and I put her out in like the sink, so I wouldn't kill her. She got a little freaked out, a little bit like spooked, but and then but I didn't kill her. And then I think she realized, hey, he saved me. I don't know if they think that or rational it, but little things like that. So like I said, I've always, even small insects, there's an FE from the INFJ that is limitless. I mean, even that is part of our FE, little bugs. Just an interesting story, okay? The magpies, though, it's amazing. I used to do that to magpies. So you fed magpies, but they wouldn't hurt you. Somehow they sensed that you had a good soul. I think animals have a good detection of that. As I would feed them. Cool. Yep, yep. I save spiders too, Justina. Okay, see that? See, that's what I mean. We do things like that. I mean, even bugs that are not threatening, that are creatures of Earth. I don't care how horrible they look. I mean, gosh, a spider's got 8 eyes or 6 eyes, it looks like a little thing. It's got fangs. But hey, it's still a life. It's still something. It's an earthling. It's a creature. Why doesn't it? Why do they get disrespect because they're just so easy to squash? They don't need that. Of course, if they're infesting your house and you've got bugs in your house, yeah, there's certain limits you got to know. You got to get rid of certain pests, right? Right. But if you got 1 or 2 spiders, it's not like a pest, right? I have one here called Lucky. Oh, you love spiders in your house like that? You got a lucky spider? Vamp's got a spider. All right, there you go. But I think that's a lot of times what it is there are certain hidden energies that go. I mean, emotional energies. There are certain communications that go beyond speech, that go beyond words. And even eye contact, go beyond the senses. I mean, a lot of times, as you know, empathy is one of those. And I asked this question within myself: what is empathy exactly? How does it work? How do we detect empathy? Is it ESP? Is it extrasensory perception? Or is it because I know that's an unprovable thing. This is what they did studies in the 70s. Could people, bend things with their mind? Remember that certain people could bend spoons with their mind? I mean, I don't know whatever happened to that. I don't know if these were hoaxes or what, but I remember being a kid and they were talking about ESP, where they could manipulate people with their mind and, read their thoughts. I don't think it's that. I mean, but I think a lot of it is our nervous system. Just as we feel vibrations in the air, just as there are hidden radio signals can transmit. We know how radio signals can transmit. I mean, gosh, we know Wi-Fi is out there. I mean, I think that in a way, human beings transmit a certain like vibe through their nervous system, our feelings. I mean, we absorb it through our skin, through our wired nervous system. That seems to be where we have to conclude that it's coming from. A nervous system that's able to feel things through our skin, through like the vibrations through the air. I mean, it's got to be, because a lot of times it's in proximity. And I talked a lot about the proximity connection too, is that we have to be within a certain distance of certain people, like within 12 feet or so. And sometimes you start picking up emotions and things like that. But it's really there. I mean, because I do feel them, and sometimes I feel them greater than others. A lot of times I go through life and I kind of have, they're on kind of like just idle most of the time. But every so often I go into a store or something and I just pick up vibrations. I pick up things like uneasiness, like uncertainty, like something's going on. But nowadays I don't think it's me. I like look around and think, all right, who is it? Somebody? I kind of start looking around because I'm detecting things. You got to get to that level, just knowing that when your moods change, how to understand when you're knowing you're detecting an emotion. I mean, you might feel it like it's your emotion, but you have to kind of decipher whether or not it's yours or not. Chances are, I mean, as you mature and get wise, you'll start to understand that kind of knowing your empathy and how it emanates. Okay, gosh, I got to get the right words here. Jethro. Okay, okay, we got some Justina. Always feel my nervous system. Yes. Okay, so we were talking spiders and Jethro. Empathy in full form for INFJs is EF, looping with SE when it comes to other people. Empathy in full form for INFJs is extroverted feeling, looping with extroverted sensing when it comes out to other people. Extroverted feeling, looping with extroverted sensing. Well, yeah, because you need those senses. Yeah. Yeah, because you're having to, very good. You pretty much got it. Yeah, you got that. A lot of times it's picking up all those cues. It's picking up all those little signals. I mean, people are throwing out, yeah, but so you're having a combination of extroverted sensing and, of course, the empathy. I mean, we're detecting a little bit from our nervous system. We're feeling certain things naturally, but also we're picking up those signals and like just eye contact and the way people are acting. You can see their emotions and how they're just by the way they are, just by their body language. Yes, exactly. That's a good point. It is so weird hearing you guys talk about what my mind does. Yeah, well, that's because that's what links us. That's what we have in common. Okay, Justina. And that's why this channel. That's why INFJs. You're finally finding out. Like your mind thinks this way, but you rarely have anybody to discuss this with because we're so rare, and you don't hear people talking this way. But you're saying that. But that's good. That's good. See. But you were questioning. You keep questioning whether or not you're that type or not. I mean, chances are when you start hearing another INFJ talk and you will relate to them and you all of a sudden relate to their experience, the way they're talking, then you say, that's me. I've thought that before. Oh, I've been through that before. That's when you realize, yeah, okay. And that's exactly what I got out of these other content creators as well. That's why I did this channel. You were asking why? That's why. Because it helped me and I want to reach out as well. Heart. I can always tell when someone is being sneaky or lying, LOL. Yes, I do that too. I see that. Or when people are pretending not to be sad. Yeah, a lot of times, yes, I know what that is. Sometimes people that are overly smiley and they're overly trying to tell you they're not sad, that they're so happy. Their life is so happy. You see these people on TikTok talking about how they love being this or that, and oh, I just love my life. But inside, they're crying. Yeah, I see that too. I know. TikTok's full of that. You ever watch? Listen, I don't watch TikTok a lot, but sometimes you got those content creators that show a lot of these women on TikTok, and they're talking about how they love this single life. But if you really love it so much, why do you need to talk about it? You have to convince. It's like you're trying to convince others and yourself. You're trying to convince yourself that you're happy when you're really not, because you're having to convince it. Yeah. And you can see behind those eyes that they're really not, that those smiles are actually hiding the sadness. Exactly. Oh, yeah. Okay. I can always tell when someone is being sneaky. You ever seen that? Or when people are pretending not to be sad. Yep. It always comes back to love for us, too. Okay? It always comes back to love for us. Now, what comes back to love? You mean as far as like when people are sad, just disguising their emotions? We have Drew Sturdy. We have another. Hello there, Drew. How do I navigate getting out of a trauma bond with an avoidant woman? Ooh, I feel drained and mentally lost. How do I navigate getting out of a trauma bond with an avoidant woman? When you say avoidant woman, I'm just trying to figure out, like, I mean, kind of, when you say avoidant, meaning like kind of knows she's pulling your strings, like she's just. I think I listen, man. I know where you've been. A lot of times, if you're in a relationship, this are you. If you are, that sounds like very INFJ-ish because you feel like you're mentally lost. You're being drained. Yeah, yeah. Listen, you got to understand when you're in relationships. I mean, listen, I'm not cutting them down. You got to find the right connection with somebody. But how do you navigate getting out of one? The trauma bond. Now, listen, you have to weigh out the pros and the cons in your relationship. Okay, I know you want to be in love, and who doesn't? Who doesn't want a woman, a love, a partner, somebody in our life? Yes, of course, we crave that. We want somebody to, but you got to understand too if it's dysfunctional. If you haven't found yourself, and a lot of times we get played, we get toyed with in our with our psychology. We get gaslit a lot of times, especially. And your weakness, if you have a weakness in you that is not addressing these things, that is not standing up for them, that is not presenting them, then it will only intensify. Okay, your women will do that to you. Now, listen, I'm not cutting women down. I mean, men can do it too. I'm not trying to cut anybody down. I'm going to go on record of that. But typically, within those relationships, men can be played because they know. You got that thing. You like your intimacy. You like your bond. You like the physical intimacy. You know what I'm saying? And of course, you want that love. And a lot of times we get played for that. But the more you need that, the more it is a vindication. Not a vindication, but the more you need the validation to basically fill your soul because you're incomplete in yourself, you're going to crave that. Now, Drew, I think a lot of it is you have to spend time as a man finding your inner self. I mean, even if you might have to spend a little bit of time alone. If you're an introvert and you're struggling with yourself and it's struggling with love, and you find yourself being a shell of yourself, like you said, it's not a good relationship. It's not healthy. It's not functional right now. And I mean, you might have to just drift out of this a little bit. Either that or you're going to have to find it within yourself to just set some boundaries, set some true limits. All right? Don't let people walk on you, especially women. They will walk on you if you let them. If they know they can get away with things because you need this, they will walk all over us. Yeah, and they do. I've been there. You got to find a certain inner self. You have to find your fortitude as a man. You have to find your internal strength that you have risen above the need, the crave of a woman's love first. I mean, you really do. Not to say you wouldn't give it, but you have to be to the point where you're so content, you are so at grace within yourself that you don't need that. And now all of a sudden you're not going to compromise you're not going to compromise yourself for it. You're not going to allow things to slide because you need it. Okay, you're going to have better boundaries and you're going to have better control. Plus, you'll be more intelligent. You'll have more control of your spirit, and you'll be more wise, and you'll be able to just understand, and you'll be pointing out when you're being gaslit. And if they throw a fit and blame you and say it's all you, you're insecure, you're too controlling. Yeah, these are all tactics. I get it. And just say, well, I have boundaries that I'm trying to uphold here, and or you don't want me to do a certain thing because you're controlling. No, you do what you want, but just know I won't be here when you get back. Okay? If you want to walk out the door and go talk to another friend that you say is just a friend, well, then I guess our duty isn't here anymore. You got to be able to know that you're willing to give it up, that you're willing to sacrifice that it's not that important. Okay? You're a high value. You are a high value. And you're not, she's not doing you a favor. No, don't ever think that you're being done a favor, okay? You're probably more at peace by yourself. I don't know. I hope I answered your question, but bottom line is, I hope I answered something there with you, Drew. Where are we? Oh, gosh, Drew, how do you navigate getting out of a trauma bond with an avoidant woman? Well, I answered that. Okay, express your thoughts and feelings, set boundaries. She breaks boundaries, then kicks off to the curb. She breaks boundaries, then kick her to the curb. Yes, There you go. See, Hart pretty much said it, and he said in a quick sentence, basically what I said. He wrapped it up in a one sentence. Bam, there you go. Yeah, and throw. Leave the situation. There you go. All right. Harp and Jethro, yes. Genesis. Justin, yes. What else, man? See, we got a whole team. We got a team here going, talking, man. Drew, I understand. I have to be content with myself, and I'm not at that point. Thanks. You hit it on the head. I hope so. Drew, man. Drew, listen, men need to find we need to find our inner core, man. We need to find that fortitude. Okay? And it takes a lot of suffering. Listen, it takes a lot of introspection, reflection through the course of your life, and you have to be geared that way. And if you are an INFJ, introverted intuitive, then you already know that a lot of times you're going to be hyper, let's say, drained by a relationship. Typically we're drained by interaction with people. A relationship will be tenfold. Okay, one woman, one relationship, one especially dysfunctional one where your peace is compromised will drain you tenfold, and you'll feel like that empty shell that you're feeling like where you're just lost. Yeah, because you're just being. It's almost like you're being just drained of your mind, your body, your soul, and probably even your resources. You're probably spending all your money on it too. You'll save some money. You got to find that first, okay? And don't let people walk on you. So there you go, man. Okay, so anyway, I nailed that on the head. So Drew, man, that's awesome. Good question. Justin, Tom, I appreciate the fact that you are straightforward about these relationship dynamics. It's a mess these days. But to be single, unless you meet the right woman, playtime is over. Yeah, you know what? I think, yeah, I know. You see a lot of times on YouTube all this red pill stuff and Taylor the Fiend. I watch stuff like that, and I do. I see these TikTok video ones. They do the reaction and the entitlements out there, and it's, I guess, the whole Western world. It's like that in other countries. And I think men are just getting to the point where they know they're being used. They're being used for their resources, and it's always just very one-sided and entitled. And yeah, you see a lot of men just walking away. The whole MGTOW movement, you know. Now, listen, we're not trying to punish anybody. Men just have to understand what is best for them. Okay, they've been there, they've done that, and maybe they've gotten married and divorced and lost half their things, lost their house, lost access to their children, and they don't want to do it again. Listen, I think that's a story of a lot of men's life, and yeah. So I think sometimes we have to find that core first, but it's forcing men to finally be introspective, to go solitude. A lot of solitary men enjoying their lives, being at peace. The whole stereotype that we've been socially conditioned is to understand that we're only happy as a man. Your happiness derives from finding the right woman, getting married, having children, having that status, providing for your children, providing for your family. Now that sounds all good, but when you're being used, when it's just a big giant scam, and all of a sudden it kind of changed into it's expected of you to provide all this and be traditional, when the other side is anything but, where when you're being used and you sense it, then it isn't worth it. You're better off just staying alone at that point. I mean, a man's better off alone if he's not being respected. If you are disrespected, that's the ultimate one. If a woman does not respect you, then you are better off alone and have your own self-respect for yourself. Okay, there you go. You got me on a tirade here. Okay, you got me on a tirade. Yeah, but again, I mean, I think there's a lot of women out there that hear this and they agree. I mean, there's a lot of good women out there. I mean, I'm not going to say not everybody's like that, you know. So okay, but anyway, so what do we got here? Windcrow. Yeah, where are we? Yeah, these are wise words, even for me as a young person. I realize myself that I have to have good standards, even if that means being alone when it's hard. It's how I love myself more. Yeah, you know what? You know, you can't be gaslit into thinking that your whole life has to be to serve somebody or to find fulfillment by having a relationship, that somebody's going to do that for you. No, you have to find that ultimate relationship within your heart first. And once you're complete in yourself, then the right woman will just come to you. You'll find the right woman. I think you know, maybe not necessarily. It does, you know, it does. But if it's meant to be, it will. Okay. Okay. So Justin, right on, Tom. We can't accept disrespect and being used anymore. Many good women out there, but most of them aren't single. Haha. Dream Dust. Hello, Dream Dust. Hey, it's good to see you coming in here. Are you, if you are young enough, I guess. If you are young, what do you need? I'm not sure what you mean by that, but it's good to see Dream Dust coming in. Okay, Justina, it is funny how we give the best advice. Yes, yes. So you give good advice too, Justina. I bet you, right? I just got on here. Well, thank you. I'm glad. I've seen you here a couple times, Dream Dust. I try to remember everybody if I haven't seen you before, then I welcome anybody I haven't seen as well. Yeah. But bottom line is, somebody asked a question. I hope that helped, though. Who was that? Drew, if you're still out there, man, that's the best advice I can get. And you can see my panel. You can see everybody here. It's like there's a whole bunch of us that are agreeing, and they're telling you basically in their own way that this is what you got to do, man. You're better off fortifying yourself, okay? And that's truly what the Sigma is. If you want to talk about how the Sigma man develops, the Sigma man has to come to these realizations. He has to find that inner self. A Sigma man he's not weak. He's solid in his mind and his heart. He's found his God. He's complete within himself. He doesn't need that. And yes, I mean, of course, he can still find love. He can find that, but he has to set his own boundaries. He has to be full of he has to have boundaries. His spirit, his life, his own inner soul is more important than what somebody's going to offer you. It has to come down to that. You have to have that spirit, has to be that strong, okay? I think our choices get smaller as we get older. I think keeping is very simple, like friendship. Yes, right. Yes. So basically, friendship is more. You want to find good friendship. Again, it's all about quality friendship, not quantity. I mean, you know, you don't want to have a roster of friends say, I know 1,500 people. They're all my friends. Yeah, but if they're all just bad friends, is it good? But you want to have you want to have true friends. It's better to have a small amount of good friends, true friends, than multitude of friends that you hardly know, that are just kind of acquaintances, right? Dream Dust. Okay, so, John, I'm 100% Sigma myself. Are you? Well, that's good to hear that, man. We need Sigmas out there. I think the world needs more Sigmas out there. Sigma men. We need Sigma males out there. We really do, you know? And so I did a video on my channel yesterday because you have inspired me. Dream Dust, what is your channel? Listen, if anybody'd like to check out Dream Dust, is it an INFJ channel, by the way? If it is, I might check it out, okay? Even if it isn't. I have had a little channel for a long time, but now I will be constant. Okay, there you go. Friendship for me is easy if I want, but relationships with jobs, whole other story. Got that, huh? Dream Dust, I agree. Okay. Genesis, excuse me, that was Justin. Dream Dust, I agree. Oh, I see. Okay, you're talking to her. I get it. Taking your time. People can be in a big hurry. Now, if it's okay with you, Dream Dust, if you want to just tell us the name of your channel and how to find it, I mean, I'd be willing to check it out, and maybe some of us all here might want to take an interest in it, okay? I'm giving you a little bit of a free advertisement, okay? You can use my platform to just tell us, just type up what your channel is. I'm sure we'll check it out, okay? All right, there. taking your time, people can be too funny. Yeah, but bottom line is, I think that's what the theme of our channel is here. Well, people, listen, Jethro, you out there? If Jethro's out there, man, I'm gonna have my beer. Anybody having a beer out there? I'm thinking some of us have a brewski. What do you think, huh? I got. All right. If anybody'd like to partake in a beverage, maybe just one. Listen, people, I'm not gonna get drunk. I'm not an alcoholic. I feel like we're having people over here. We're having friendship over here. Now, good gosh, I hope YouTube doesn't. Wait a minute, hold on a minute. This is only a tonic over here. I can't call it a beverage. No, excuse me. This is not alcoholic. This is merely a beverage. It's just it's organic chocolate drink here. I don't believe I can consume alcohol, especially not endorsing it. I can't tell you that. You know what? I'm not even sure how that works. I know you can't do certain advertisements. You can never see anybody drink an alcoholic product. So I don't know how YouTube works. I don't know. Maybe there's something in the fine print there. But no, this is just what do you call one of those energy drinks? Just a beverage, just a generic beverage. You know? So that's all it is. Okay. I didn't say it was beer. All right. But anyway, let's all have a beverage here. You can just cover up the net. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm not going to advertise for. I got to remember too. I mean, I got certain guidelines I got to remember. I got to keep over here. Okay. Yeah. Cheers. Cheers. Awesome. All right. Hey, if anybody's having their beer on their other end, we said we're going to have a beer. Jethro, did you get your beer? Jethro's the one who had this idea, man. Well, actually, I said something about the beer, but he agreed on that, right? So everybody have a drink, huh? Okay. My drink of choice are wine and whiskey. Oh, Harp, I know you're still at work there. I'm sure you probably can't do that. It's just, you know. But hey, if you're still out there keeping an eye on that, you know, you can have that beer. You can have that drink, that beverage when you're, you know, on your time. You know. Okay, Dream Dust. I love getting back to the MBTI thing. Okay, did you post your channel? How to find that channel? But actually, Dream Dust 38 might actually link you to that channel, people, if you want to check out her channel. But let me ask you though, is it based on the MBTI? And if she's got a small channel, you know, if it's worth listening to, hey, I'm glad you're out there. All right, needing a group to do this with. I'm very tired today, and do not know why. Oh, you're tired today, Dream Dust, huh? Okay. Sometimes we get tired. I mean, if you're INFJ, there are times that we don't know where our energy's gone. Certain parts of the day, sometimes we feel tired without even knowing. And if you're around too many people, social interactions, people that drain you, yeah, you might start picking up things. Or sometimes it's just we might have things on our mind that keep us up at night and keep our mind going, gives us insomnia. We don't get our sleep. We're always in jet lag. A lot of times I think we get tired a lot. Yeah, that's part of us. That's one of our things is we're fatigued a lot of times. So we're always trying to make up our energy. Dream Dust. But I noticed that a lot of times the more sound you make your mind, when you start figuring out your mind and you meditate, you get out of the swirl of those crazy thoughts and you're not caught up in them anymore. A lot of times you're able to sleep better because they're not swirling in there anymore. No, this channel will not lead you there. Okay. Granny Gracie into the now, retirement boomer style. I might start doing lives. Okay, is that what it is? Granny Gracie in the now? Okay, it's all right. So there it is. Granny Gracie in the now. That's the name of your channel? Okay. Retirement boomer style. Boomer style, huh? Okay. Are you a boomer? Is that what it is? Okay, because yeah, we're all. I mean, I'm an old Gen Xer. I'm probably one of the oldest. I'm not quite a boomer. My brothers are all boomers. I'm an Xer. The only Xer. I'm the youngest brother. So, but there you go. You heard it there. That's the channel. Anybody like to look at that? There you go. So we got we got Justin, Dream Dust. I looked up your channel and will give you a listen after this live is over. Hey, there you go. See? Justine, I've been tired my whole life. Oh, yeah, Justina. Hey, I've gone through years where I fought fatigue. Yeah. And I didn't know why. And I think that's something chronic with an INFJ. We just fight fatigue all the time. And a lot of it has to do with the stress we're under. It's because we're under so much stress, especially just not really understanding our mind, being caught up in our mind, overthinking, over processing, it's all that chaos in our mind. We have a mind that never stops either. It's like a constant running freight train. It's like that constant running machine that never stops. And now listen to this. Now, Justina, also understand that I'm going to tell you that a lot of times we have insomnia. Occasionally we drift off into sleep. Our mind is always going. It might still be going. And we might wake up in the middle of the night and not know why. And just be up for hours. And that's the insomnia we have. And I have a theory as to why that is. This mind that never stops going, that's so going constantly. It's so developed, and sometimes I think it's so subconscious in a way too. Our mind thinks and starts trying to put things together, piece things, rationalize. Maybe even that NIT loop is going off in our consciousness of sleep. Now, a very profound thought may enter your mind. Something very profound, something very deep may enter in your sleep. And right away, your subconscious, your whatever it is, your subconscious or whatever, will actually awaken you in order to decipher this thought in a conscious state, to pull you out of your unconsciousness to decipher your thoughts. That's how deep sometimes I think these patterns go with the INFJ. And if you're caught up in your mind, this is going to happen. Then you spend hours trying to figure out what that thought was. And man, you might not even have remembered it, but you can't get back to sleep. Then you kind of start laying there and you think you'll get back to sleep, but your mind is wide open in the middle of the night. This is causing our fatigue. Okay? It's all about settling down your mind. And I came to that conclusion that that's how deep the mind is. That's how profound it gets. You're being awakened to rationally try to decipher what that thought was. Yeah. So it's all about getting control of your mind, Dream Dust. I don't recommend, listen, I never recommend any drugs on this, any kind of like melatonin or anything like that. These are just, I think a lot of it has to do with meditation, finding some kind of relief. Meditation would really help you if you had a way of. I have a meditation video that's very old. I've been meaning to update it. I might even do a one of those courses, like this, and I may just come up with like a course on like stages of like INFJs, and one of them can be meditation, and just try to come up with the whole practice. I mean, go in detail about how to meditate and find that inner eye of the storm that we have, and get out of these swirling thoughts that are constantly keeping us awake at night. Okay, but I think that's probably what it is. You're overthinking, Justina. Let's see, where are we? Dreamed. Okay, I got a lot of comments going on in here. Definitely, I feel that tiredness is insomnia. Dreamed us, Vamp Fox. Yeah, you feel that as well. And I hate the TI loops. Yes, I am a boomer, a younger boomer. Oh yeah, that's right. You're a younger boomer as well. Okay, so boomers are more like, yeah, they're probably like my brother's age. My brothers are in their later 60s, mid to later 60s. I'm very early 60s as a Gen Xer. So, but that could be it. If you started calming your thoughts down and get into a meditation, that would help out. Okay, I think these lives are fun. Different topic on lives with people would be great. I show my 2 books on MBTI that I have on my videos yesterday. So you get books as well. Okay, I haven't got a book out. Listen, I'm so new at this. I mean, I see there's so many things to do. I'm still new. I'm not even at. I got less than 1,000 subscribers. I'm a new guy. I'm young. Excuse me. I'm very small on this channel, but I hear about books and things. I'm thinking, how do I write a book? How would I write a book and sell it online? I mean, I'm not quite in the partner program anyway. I can't do that yet. I mean, I have to have a certain number of subscribers and stuff. Okay. I live rural, so YouTube is my window to the world. I'm taking my channel more serious now. All right. And Justina, I am learning to stay in the present moment, to stay out of my mind because of that exactly. Okay, got that. All right. Dream Dust, good idea on the meditation thing, mindfulness. Yes. All right. And then we got Jethro. There is something else on the topic is working on SE because it's getting you out of your loops. Yes. I just watched a video that teaches you how to use your SE to get into action. Okay. Just watched another video on that. Okay. Wonder whose video that. Yeah, that's good. It looks like you're really trying to focus on getting control of the SE in there and things like that. Is SE spiritual exercise, Jethro? Hey, there's a question. Is SE a spiritual exercise? You're asking Jethro. Well, I'm going to let Jethro answer that question since you're asking Jethro. Hey, you're being asked a question there, Mr. Jethro. There you go. How about that? Is it a spiritual exercise? I'm going to let him chime in, and I'll fill you in a little bit if he wants to answer. Like, listen, I know he can probably only type as much as he can, but I'm going to weigh in on that after he. I don't think it's SC is a material thing. All right. Ooh, that's good. All right. All right. How's everybody's beverage out there, huh? We're all just hanging around. Hey, we're from all over the world here, all parts of the countries, the worlds, and I don't know, we could be from anywhere in the world, but we're all hanging out, having a beer, talking about MBTI stuff. I mean, does life get any better than that, people, huh? Okay, what do you say about that, huh? So anyway, let me see what your answer is there. I don't think it is SC is material thing. What that does not explain, but that is okay. I love it. Okay, I can't wait to be the hot guy in the water park this summer. Oh, okay. Hey, can we get any more? Hey, Hart, man, that's a good comment, man. Can we get a little bit more random or what? I'm only kidding, man. That's a good one. So he's really into the fitness. You know, Harp is like he's the workout guy. You know what I mean? Steady drinking in Tennessee. Justin, you're from Tennessee. That's right. Yeah, that's right. I do remember that. Drinking in Tennessee. Hey, go Titans. You still the Titans? I don't know if you like football, but okay. And then we got Jethro. Sorry, SC is the material, not the spiritual. Okay. Now that you've weighed in on that, I wanted to hear your answer on that. If you're done, sensing extrovert, dream duck, sensing extrovert, question mark. Well, you're asking good questions. You want to really understand this whole thing. Okay, I'm going to weigh in on the. If you're okay with this, Dream Dust, I'm going to answer that question you asked Jethro. I wanted him to answer first. I didn't want to take that away since you asked that. If it's okay, I'm going to try to weigh in on that question. And your question was basically, do I think spiritual exercise is SC a spiritual exercise? I think, now I'm going to weigh in on this a little bit if you're okay with that. I think spirituality is, it goes beyond our mental. I think we have several elements within our psyche, within our consciousness, within our life, whatever you want to call it. I think that our physical body is an extension. It's a physical manifestation into this extroverted sensing world, and it's basically our flesh. It's our avenue. It's our manifestation into this sensory world. We also have our mind, which is just basically our neurons and our firings and our functions, and everything that we gather from our senses are put into our mind. And our education and all we learn is computed in there. And we learn pattern and memory recognition based on basically the neurons and how they fire and the sequences that they fire. So that's mind. But your spirit, Your spirit is an intangible. Your spirit is not, you can't find the organ that your spirit is in. There is no place inside of you. You can't say, okay, this is the spirit. I mean, even though technically when you close your eyes, I mean, you feel like you're in your head. Do you feel you're right between the eyes right here? I mean, close your eyes. I mean, you're not, if your consciousness, if you were to say it, you're in your brain. But you're right here. Okay? You're right between the eyes, the old saying. Now, I think a lot of times it's a physical exercise, which is spiritually, I think a lot of ways you have to kind of separate all the three. And a lot of times your meditation, which is your exercise, is a way of finding awareness in your body, but also getting out of that, getting out of your mind and trying to project out and find that eye of the storm, the still center, the still centerness of your consciousness. I think that there is a non, let's say, basically it's like being in the center of a wheel. I mean, that doesn't spin. There's a part of you that does not move, does not turn. There's a part of you that is timeless. And this is the part of you that is linked with God. This is that very part that links us. So I think you're talking about a spiritual exercise. Is it extroverted sensing? I'd say it's more of the idea where you're kind of combining all. You're taking your extroverted sensing in a sense, and you're trying to get out of that and find your center. It's a way of kind of separating yourself from these extroverted senses. And you're trying to find your soul, that stillness, that eye of the storm. I've described this before, Dust, as you ever see a hurricane? A hurricane swirls and it spins, or a galaxy spins and swirls. Okay, we have a center. Things that, if something is spinning, there's a nucleus that does not spin. That basically is the glue that holds that spinning function. Your spirit is like that in a manifestation. It's kind of like that eye of the storm. In your psyche, you need to find this eye of the storm. In your meditation, you got to find that quiet stillness that's outside of your thoughts, body, beyond, being aware of your body, but it's beyond that. You're just kind of in a vessel. It's almost like you're just here. And a lot of times you have to figure out how to slow down your mind, get out of your mind. That's why I said get out of your thoughts. That'll help you with your sleep. If you find a meditation exercise where you try to find that inner stillness, okay? That's the key. You look for the eye of the storm that does not spin, that does not think, that is timeless, that is infinity, that is connected to God himself. And this is these. So you want to talk about an extroverted sensing, which is that hurricane. That's extroverted, right? That's a physical manifestation, but describing how it mirrors the spiritual within yourself, within your mind, within your spirit. You see, I think a lot of times we use our extroverted sensings in order to have basically understanding of how our inner spirit works, but we have to find the right things that inspire us. Like I said, that hurricane, the eye of the storm, that middle part, you see, that's where your extroverted sensing is, your mental exercise, is using these knowledges, these things around you as guides, as things the things in nature that help you to understand your spirit and how it works as well. Okay. I hope I explained that. That would be my take on that. Now, Justin, for all I know, if he could have typed the whole page down there, he might have explained it like that. I'm sure any one of them could have said it in their own way, like that. I don't know. But being that I have the mouth and I just have the voice here, I can just spill it out. I don't have to type it. But there you go. I mean, DreamWorks, I hope that, Dream Dust, excuse me. Dream Dust. That's what I would say. That's my interpretation, okay? But Justin, his answer was pretty good too. I like it. We all contribute here, okay? So, Vamp, okay, took a couple of messages, probably mistyped your messages or something, okay. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, where were we? Sensing, hidden, oh yeah, hidden, you can be the hot guy anywhere. Yeah, yeah, you don't have to wait to be on the beach, yeah. Okay, so Justin, I was a Braver and Falcons fan when I was a young teenager. Titans were around when I was a kid. Wait, Braves and Falcons are in Atlanta. Are you from Atlanta? They're not in Tennessee, though, unless you like those Atlanta teams. Yeah. Yeah. Did you know that the Braves were originally the Boston Braves way back before I was even born? They moved out of town in like 1952, went to Milwaukee, then they went to Atlanta. Yeah, they were the Boston Braves. Boston one time had a National League team. Now they get the Boston Red Sox. I grew up watching the Red Sox. I was basically from Boston. Okay, but yeah, thank you, Vamp. And let's see, Vamp, you're welcome. Just gotta believe in yourself. Just yourself out there. Just ignore everything. Yeah, just gotta believe in yourself. Mainly, that's yeah. Okay. Let's see, hidden. I have come to this personal conclusion of extroverted sensing causes my inner world of introverted intuition to evolve. Oh, there you go. Good gosh, people are deep. You just throw a couple of sentences together in there, you can see how deep you people are. My gosh, you really are. Yes, I put my headphones on and need to step outside and listen to music, usually on a slightly low level, so can hear if can hear somebody make conversation. Okay, you keep the earphones on just a little bit. What? So you basically don't want to make conversation, or you do? I don't. Okay. Heart extroverted sensing almost always makes me uncomfortable, but just like exercise, I try to engage in extroverted sensing to stimulate character growth. And Jethro's giving you a thumbs up on that. Hey, he's the nunchuck man. He does that. Yeah, I think that he. See, you just hit something. Yeah, you guys are on to something. Yeah, that the whole physical exercise that extroverted is making it connect into. Yeah, and hey, that's what. What do you think martial arts? Martial artists do that stuff. These guys that are into like kung fu and temple karate, kempo karate. I mean, they're all about mind, body, and soul. And so, it gets spiritual. They get into like Buddhism and things. It's just like the samurais. Yeah, that's one thing I think is, yeah, I think I mentioned on a short video about the Sigma INFJ. Who was asking about the Sigma INFJ? And I steered into the fact of how the warrior. Now there's studies now. They're talking about how somehow there's warrior genes in the Sigma. Somehow it's genetic now. They're saying that I've heard other content creators say that Sigmas are somehow, yeah, the generic code, like the warrior gene is kind of transmitted through their bloodline almost, and they have certain physical and spiritual, mental qualities, characteristics that just kind of that they're born with, and that's what makes them who they are. Like it's somehow genetic bloodlines, and there's certain physical characteristics in a Sigma as well. I don't know how much I can believe that. I thought a lot of it had to do with just your type, your personality, but this I see other content out there about that. But Jethro, okay, I'm about to string up my new pair of nunchucks now while listening, LOL. Oh, he's stringing up nunchucks while he's listening, huh? All right. How much does the weather affect everyone's mood outlook? Oh, good questions out there, Justin. Yeah. Jethro, a.k.a. Michelangelo, the Orange Ninja Turtle. Michael, yeah, the Ninja Turtle guy. Okay, got it. Hey, does the weather affect anyone's mood outlook? It used to. Yeah, it can. Doesn't it? I mean, a lot of times, gosh, if it's a rainy day, really, especially if the rain goes on for like days and days, it can start getting on you. We're just getting over a winter here in the Northeast. Up here in New Hampshire, I mean, gosh, my yard still got a couple feet of snow. I mean, 2.5 feet of snow. I mean, I know March is here, winter's almost over, but a lot of times I think it starts weighing on you, especially after winter. I mean, we went through the bulk of it, but it starts to, especially when you're hoping it starts warming up. But you still got a couple more weeks before the climate changes again, okay, where spring starts to arrive. So I think it affects us a little bit. It does me. I know I'm looking forward to spring. Of course, always looking forward. Always thinking 3 weeks ahead when you're getting better weather. Always doing that. That's what we do, right? And always thinking of that. But you're living it in the time you're in it. But you're still like saying, as much as you want to see that, you're projecting forward. You're still in it. You're still in 3 feet of snow in your backyard. You know, and you got to deal with it. Like we had a storm last night. I had to take my snow blower and clear out my driveway and all that. And I mean, I do that. I make sure I clean my yard up a little bit so I can park my car, you know. But it kind of gets to you. It's just a chore you got to do, right? So, all right, I'm in Washington. I have no snow on the ground. Now, Washington State or D.C.? I'm going to say it's probably state, right? Where I am already. Really, I would have liked some snow, more snow. I don't want fire season this year. Oh, I can see that. Yeah, you got to be in DC. You got to be in state. Yeah. Plus, no vitamin D from the sun, but at least they got a free car wash. Ah, gee. Sigma INFJs are very, very hard working on themselves from birth. It makes them super aware, is my theory. Yes. Yes, I think so too. I love summer. I hear the peepers tonight. Oh, oh, 007, you hear peepers tonight. Spring is already around the corner. You must be closer to the equator. I'm not going to hear peepers for at least, gosh, another month. I mean, April, probably mid-April. I'll start, maybe late April, something like that. Mid-April, I'll start hearing peepers. I still got weeks for that up here in New Hampshire. So I love summer. I hear the people today. Spring is around the corner. Yes, Washington State. Yes, I knew that. I didn't figure it was D.C. talking about what you were, snow. I mean, I know you're not there. You would probably said D.C. or something. Harp, yes, I love the free car washes. Yeah, that's right. Oh, from all the rain and yeah. For me, weather it depends. Really hot or really cold. I get sleepy. Even rainy weather too. Yeah. I think it definitely affects my mood. I like a sunny day. I think a lot of times is a sunny day invigorates you. You walk out, you hear the birds singing, especially springtime. I love springtime. There's certain seasons I love. I love spring, and I love autumn. I love autumn too. I love it when it just starts to cool down. You had that hot summer. Yeah, you've had those July and August, and then it starts getting to be September, maybe late September, early October. And up here we got the foliage. You got the beautiful foliage and all that stuff, and it gets just a little cool, but it's not too cold, and it ain't too hot. And then of course you got May. I love May too because May is just like that in the spring. It isn't quite, things are starting to bloom. It's not quite too hot yet. You're not in the real heat of summer yet. You're right in that in between. Let's love May and October are my favorite months. Hey, especially up here. I'm not sure how it is down under there, Vamp. I know you're down in Australia. There might be. I know your seasons are a little different, but even May and October must be changing months for you down there. Like May would be you entering into your winter, and October would be you entering into your summer. Though I mean, it's all backwards. I know it's different. But either way, those are the in-betweens, like the middle months, spring and autumn. But I love those months, for the most. Let's see. I was 70 here, and it was 70 here, and thunderstorms on and off. Jethro, you're from Iowa. You're saying it was 70 like today? Today you had 70 degrees? And I know you're in the Midwest over there, Iowa, right? Okay, Vamp, for me, weather depends. Really hot, really cold. I guess, okay, sleepy. I saw that before. Certain rains have a nice peace. That's hard to get, okay? And Vamp, the really hot heat makes me cranky. Autumn and winter, spring are amazing. Okay, so you're kind of but you like winter as well. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how much you're affected by winter in Queensland. I don't know exactly where the latitudes are. Do you get a lot of snow during your spring? Because you're in northern Queensland, so you're closer to the equator. the further south you get more colder weather. If you were like on the southern coast, it's probably harsher winters on the south side, I believe, in Australia. But you're closer to north than Queensland. I saw you. I was reading up on Australia not long ago. I saw what Queensland is, and you're in a that looks like a really nice territory out there. Okay. Okay, so thunderstorms make me excited. Oh, I love thunderstorms. Great point. I am enthralled by a thunderstorm. The louder, the more crashing thunder, the bolts of lightning. Oh my God. I wonder if that's something. Yeah, I've always loved thunderstorms. They're like just seeing the awesomeness of the power of nature. It's just awe-striking. It is. Yeah, I mean, I just don't want a tree to fall on me during it or crush my house, obviously. But yeah, I've always been like just enthralled by that too. Good point, Vamp. Yes, yes, Jethro too. He likes thunderstorms. Looks like he's agreeing with that. Thunderstorms make me excited. Yes, Jethro. Yes, about those special types of rain. No snow in Queensland. Yeah, it's too far north then. Okay. Any cold weather doesn't mix with my anemia. Anemia? You are you a, is that? Yeah. So is that that's the blood thing? Okay. So cold weather's not good for your anemia then, huh? Okay. So that means you don't have a lot of high like red blood cell production. Is that what that is? Very rare. Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, nothing like a nice thunder shower though, especially like yeah, you just being caught up in it. I mean, nothing like hearing that rumble of thunder. Sometimes I count how many, I count seconds. Every second is 1,000 feet that it's away, and sometimes you hear like it's instantaneous. As soon as you hear the crack of it, bang! It's like it's right over your head. I mean, literally right up there. But when it's like 3, 4, 5 seconds away, it's like within a mile or so. Lack of iron in the blood. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Is that something you could regulate, or is that just something that's part of that you like just are kind of dealing with in your body? Maybe that's it. You just have a lack of iron. I don't know if you could just start increasing the iron rate in your blood, but it's a lot to do with just the production because our blood is produced from what, the bone marrow? Is it something to do with the marrow is not producing and keeping up with the red blood cells enough? I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking questions, right? Dream Dust. We have no thunderstorms. We have not had thunderstorms for a while. They're like the ones I remember years ago. We are in a drought right now where I am. Okay. Now, you're in Washington State, Dream Dust, you said? You're up in Washington, right? Okay. And but you don't have any snow. I would think a lot of times you're right off that Pacific coast. A lot of times Washington and Oregon and Northern California, you're right off of those whole weather forecasts, all the clouds. I mean, Seattle, Washington has like averages almost 4 to 5 days of rain every week. I think they average out like over almost what is it? Seattle is like the rainiest spot in the country because they're right off of those right there in the Pacific, and all those clouds go from west to east, and they're picking up all those. Yeah. But I would think of being up in Washington, you'd have a lot of rain. Maybe it's not thunder showers, but you must get a lot of rain in the rain season, tons of it. I mean, being that you're right up in Seattle, I don't know if you're out of Seattle, but that's common up there. It's much rain up there. So you know my geography. And that's one of the reasons why Sequoia National Park is so lush with these magnificent trees, those sequoia trees. They get to be hundreds of feet tall and massive as they are because they have such a plethora of rain. They're right off that whole Sequoia in Northern California is also part of that whole weather pattern that goes from east to west. So they constantly, that part is rained on all the time. So they get tons of water because they need it for those trees. And that's one of the reasons that whole region has such like magnificent forests and stuff, especially, like I said, the redwood forest, which is unique to like the world. And that's the only place on earth you find these massive giant trees. these redwood trees. Imagine how fascinating it must have been exploring America and then coming across the Sequoia National Park. It must have been mind blowing seeing these trees that the tree trunks were like 20 feet across, diameter. You know, just then they cut them out. They cut these tunnels through some of them. The cars go under like through a tree, like a tunnel. Yeah, but that must be a really amazing living out there. But but you're in a drought though. I'm surprised. So that's a drought. It probably only rains like maybe 3 days out of the week instead of like 4 or 5, right? And that's probably a drought out there. I'm sure Washington still gets enough rain, but it's just not as much rain as you used to, right? I would think. All right, dream dust. Okay, hidden. It's sometimes it can increase, but it will cause an issue when I take medication. Oh, okay. All right. Sometimes it increases, but it causes issue with medication. Oh, again, I don't know a lot about anemia, but I know sometimes people suffer from that. You must be one of them that has that thing going on. Vamp. I get carpal tunnel syndrome, so my hands get pins and needles which get affected by temperature changes. Okay, got that. No, I am on the dry side and sunny side of the state. I am in the Catskill sides of the east. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. I'm glad you. So that's the dry side. So I know the Seattle side's getting all the rain. So you're saying by the time they pass through, all the rain has already hit there, so you're not getting quite as much. I didn't know if most of the state had a lot of that, but it's mostly that coast area. Yeah, and usually it's same thing with Oregon. Northern California, that whole area on the coast gets massive amounts of rain. So you're on the dry side. I get it. Okay. So dream dust. Again, I have lived in Seattle for 14 years. Very, very hard on the health. So I had to move. Very wet, very moldy, high pollens. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's why I was saying Seattle averages like, what was it? 4 to 5 days out of the week that it rains. They might have 2 days out of 7 that's actually sunny. So tons of rain. If you like rain, you go. Well, you like Seattle. I guess that's one of the downsides. You have to like that kind of thing. Yeah, I can imagine. Like you said, it affected your health. You had to move a little further inland. Okay, all right. I lived in Seattle 14 years. Very hard on my health. Okay, all right. So it is. Oh, so anyway, yeah, that's good. We're talking. We're talking a little bit about stuff. We're talking about just the world we're living in different areas, and so we get. Hey, how did we get talking about the weather here? Huh? All right. Okay. We started talking weather. Uh-oh. Oh, come on. People are starting to drop off. Yeah, that's okay. 10 are watching. That was up to almost 20 once. Yeah, that's good. But anyway, people, does anybody have any more questions they'd like to ask? Anybody have any concerns? Anything I can go into a monologue about? I seem to think people, people like those, Hey, I am at 10. Hey, I've already been here for 2 hours, people. 2 hours already. It's hard to believe. And we're just getting started, it seems like, huh? So, my fault with the winter. Okay. Jen, my fault with winter. Yeah. Oh, but anyway, so like I said, hopefully, I'm not sure how well that video, I put out a video this afternoon, or actually it was released yesterday. It's been out probably about 24 hours about the a limbo. And I noticed it didn't have people glomming onto it as much, but so, I mean, sometimes they put a video out and it's really good. People just, it gets a lot of likes, gets a lot of views, and they say, hey, that's a good video. Then sometimes I put a video out and it doesn't do so good, I guess that's part of YouTube. It's all part of just the whole algorithm. You got to put out good content, thumbnails, all that stuff. But maybe that one just wasn't, or maybe it's got to take its time. It's got to take its time and just be out there, and it's going to reach the right audience. I think a video has to reach somebody that's, maybe they're in that state in limbo, and then all of a sudden it speaks to them. It's like one of those. Sometimes the genre of personality types is very specific to our type.
And being that we're rare, you got to figure if we're so rare, you got to figure a lot of people are not going to glom onto our type, only us. And being that we're up less than we're just a little over 1,000, like 10 and a thousand people, basically. We're so rare, 2%, 1% of the population. It's limited to who's really going to be interested. But that's what the algorithm is supposed to do, is to steer it into these people that are going to get something out of it, though. But it's actually always a deep conversation when INFJs are think tanking. LOL. Even the weather can get tanked. Yes, my fault with the weather. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, see, what I start thinking is when I think weather and stuff, I just right away I start geographically imagining. I mean, I got a pretty good. I've always been like that geographically and knowing like knowing climates around the world because I studied so much geography as a kid. I love geography. That's why I want to know where you're from, so I can get an idea. When you mention where you're from, I kind of get I'm getting an image what part of the world you're from, what part of the country you're from. If I'm from the U.S., so it's just a kind of a way for me to help. It helps me connect. Just get geographically. That's all. I don't know. It's funny like that. That's my mind. I agree, LOL. No, I was saying it was a good conversation, LOL. No, I know that. I knew that. I get that. I see that. No, I was. I think a lot of times this. I mean, weather could be small talk, but we're making it deep, deep conversation. Even talking about weather. Hey, after all, it is part of. It's part of the world, right? We just have to, and it does affect our lives. And like I said, I'm talking about coming out of winter here. And I know how winter affects my life, but I chose to live up here in New Hampshire where I have winters, and I get snow every winter. So I mean, that's my choice. I could have moved down south, I just never did. That's all. Genesis. Okay, Justin, how much of personality, how much of personality do you think is nature versus nurture, Tom? I would imagine it is a bit of both. But I think it is more heavily influenced on the nature side. I don't know. I don't know though. Well, I got a couple of. Yeah, that's a good question. I can start talking about that. I got a couple of different theories on that though. Okay, we have somebody else that's coming in here. Somebody new. I'm going to address somebody. Hello there. It's IXIN Mace. Enexa Mace. I hope I'm pronouncing that right, but I do say Mace. Okay, as far as the views on videos are concerned, I think it's ideal if you can just upload what you like and not worry about the numbers so much. Yeah, I know. Sometimes I do get caught up a little bit in that. I know I should just know that I'm going to put something out there, and you know, yeah, you're right. I got to make sure my concern is right, but also, I mean, I want the channel to do well. I'd like to see, but I do over the course of 8 months, I've noticed that things are getting way better though. Like the views and stuff, and the obviously, now I'm doing lives. I wasn't doing this months ago as much. I did one or two every so often here there, but I think that's all very important too. But I'm going to address this question that Justin asked about nurture or nature in your personality. Do you think it's a bit of both? Yeah, I do. I do think it's a bit of both. When you say nurture, I actually asked the question, is there genetics that play a factor? Now, I've talked about this before. I might have even had a couple of video shorts and things concerning the fact that, is it in our DNA? Is it passed down? Is it actually inherited? Okay, whether or not that has something to do with nurture and nature. I mean, I understand the idea that a lot of times INFJs, we've had childhoods where, yes, we felt isolated even as children, and we were left alone to our own devices. We didn't have anybody to confide in, especially our parents might have been absent. So we've had to figure out things on our own, and this has been discussed. I guess that's a lot of the common conception, is that it had a lot to do with, that would be nature. Well, wait, would that be nurture or nature? Okay, I think that would be the nurture side. That would be basically your environment, how you were raised, right? Environmental, and it steered you into that based on that. But I mean, I think sometimes I hear that even in families, I hear some INFJs tell me that they've had a parent that was also the same personality type as them. And occasionally you hear about situations where, yeah, there's more family members. Like maybe it skips a generation, or sometimes you see certain personality types come out that are close within families, and which makes me think, is it passed down through inheritance? Now, personally, I've told this story before. I believe my mother, my late mother, was an INFJ. I didn't know it while she was alive. Didn't know what the MBTI was, but after knowing who my mother was and understanding what I knew about her, she was my mother after all. I concluded. I says, my mom, she had to have been an INFJ. She had all those traits. She had a lot of things going on, and she loved to talk deep conversations. She was very spiritual. But bottom line is, I think it could be that. But and then there's been some other INFJs that have told me also that they've had the family members. But I think a lot of it was, I know I had a difficult childhood. I know I ran away cross country. I know I did a lot of things that I shouldn't have. I wish I didn't, but it made me who I am. If it wasn't for me to do what I did, I wouldn't turn out who I was. So it was part of my destiny, I guess you could say. But bottom line is, yeah, it's just it's a little bit of both, I think, because my upbringing and the way I lived had a lot to do with it. But again, I mean, if it's in the DNA as well, if it's in the genetics, and if my mom had it and I inherited it, then I don't know. It's kind of it's still not proven. It's speculation, things like that. But it would explain why a lot of times it's so rare, though, if it is genetic, though, because of the fact that if there's so rare and there's so many, we're only less than 1% of the population. And being that a lot of times INFJs are introverted and they're solitary types. They're the lone wolves. And sometimes they're single a lot. Some go most of their life without really a lot of relationships, if not any. I've heard some tell me that they've never been in like a relationship. Maybe they've had a couple of flings here and there, but they're not the type to settle down. They're very much the solitary type, and I can attest to that. I think a lot of us are like that. We're very lone. So we're not spreading our seeds, put it bluntly. We're not. So if we're not spreading our seeds like other extroverted types do, then we're going to be rare because our DNA is not spreading much. It does occasionally, so it would make it a rare type. So, I mean, that's up to the argument, too. I mean, I got thought of that as well. But again, I don't think you can prove DNA in a DNA chain. You can't prove a personality type in these chromosomes. I don't think you can see them because they're not physical. They're not hair color. They're not skin color, height, bone structure, nothing of that because they're not. You can't really see how a personality comes down. I suppose you could do a psychological study on parents and siblings and parents and children, and I'm sure somebody could do something extensive. Would they prove anything? I don't know, but so I mean, it could be a little bit of both, but again, it's not provable. The only thing that's provable right now is speculation that it's environment that is passed down from, as we discussed before. So these are questions I've asked too. I really have. But I have my theories. I mean, I see the patterns and I kind of do the statistics and the math. I try to kind of troubleshoot at what it is. And I think it could be definitely hereditary as well. All right. So anyway, let me check out some of your comments there. Who wanted to comment on that? Okay. Okay. So we had that. So, yep. Okay. Mace, you were talking about the views. I remember that comment. Not worrying about the numbers. Do INFJs nurture themselves better than other types? Jethro, nice question. Jethro, I oftentimes give myself the best pep talks. Yes, I like my own dad. Do you think INFJs nurture themselves better than other types? Yes, I do. I think they kind of have no choice, Jethro. I mean, I think all of our lives, we're all we know who to turn into. Yeah, we turn into ourselves for our own guidance, and that's what we've been doing since we were children, very young children. And we've had to look deeper within ourselves and figure things out on our own. So, yes, and I think we go through our lives getting better, getting smarter, wiser. I mean, I can't speak for every INFJ. I'm sure some of them, I don't know, I can't speak for all of them. Maybe some of them did something dumb and they ended up taking their lives young age. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody, but I think the majority of us in this chat right here, sounds to me like we learn from our mistakes and forge on and get better. Yeah, and I can tell you, I'm a different man than I was back even 5 years ago, even 10 years ago. So it seems like I evolve, in my lifetime in that way, and so I definitely think we are the type that. But the thing is, it's how we do it. It's how the INFJ does it. It's in that isolation zone that we go. It's in that when we're hurt, when we're especially when we're very hurt for whatever reason. I mean, maybe we've been whatever, something happens that devastates us. Maybe marriages break up, a death in the family, maybe somebody close, whatever it might be. And a lot of times, these devastating heartbreaks just put us into that bunker zone. But we suffer and we cry. We reach out. We suffer alone in that depth of our mind for how long it ever takes. And we know we've been there, people. Yeah, I mean, I say it with a straight face, but I've been there many times. I'm sure you all have. But in that suffering is our development. Yeah, that's our rebirth. I mean, hey, just like you said, I mean, the rain, as much as we don't like the rain and it depresses us, it's like the version of the water. The water that nourishes the ground and nourishes the plants around us. In that, it's a necessary thing. I mean, without water, without tears, without shedding those tears, without that water, it's like you're not growing in a sense. You need water just as you need sunlight. I mean, you might think sunlight's all good for you, but if there's only that's why the earth spins. The earth has a rotisserie. It's like a rotisserie. I mean, and it's perfectly divided. It spins 24, takes 24 hours for it to spin, but each and every part of the earth is being carefully spun so that you have the light of the sun, and then you have the darkness of the night to give it just enough relief. Okay, but you also have the hot of the sun, but you need that water. You need that nourishment of the water. So you need the sun, you need the light, but you also need the tears. You see, in order to balance your growth, in order to keep you growing, and that's a spiritual growth that we have. See, these are, again, I'm using the nature, what I see. My extroverted sense of the world helps me understand my soul. You see, there you go. That's how the exercise works. So, yeah, I think a lot of it, so we do. We absolutely do. And I think a lot of times we just have to let that out too. I mean, this is what's going on in our soul. We think this way. It's always there, but sometimes you just don't really see how deep it is until you start talking about it, when it just comes out like that too. So that was a good question, John. That was Jethro. That was Jethro's question. Very good question, and absolutely, it's I think we're one of the better types that heals from ourselves, but our healing points is we're facing our pain. We really are. Okay, let me see. I'm gonna check out what you got going on here. So we have my mom is an ESFJ, Hidden Harp. ESFJ. Well, she gets on my first and last nerves. But let me hush. Okay, that's okay. Jethro, as an ESTP, can be changing for INFJs. Jethro, as an ESTP, can be changing for INFJs. Who's an ISTP? Oh, Dream Dust, is that what you are? You Dream Dust, you are an ISTP? Oh man, okay. I'm just reading what you said. I know. I thought I would have assumed. I assume everybody's on time. I don't know. Well, I guess we could be anything. Okay, my mom. Okay, saw that. Sounds like your mom was a great mom, Jethro. Okay, sounds like that. I remember having to parent myself at a. Okay, I didn't finish that. At a young age. Okay, I see that. And then, good point. Good point on ours own to figure it out. Yes, exactly. I've actually studied personalities in DNA. The thing that the thing is they're not too long ago mapped the whole human genome and advancing for us to understand better. Yeah, but have they actually this genome you're talking about? But they maybe someday they can prove that personality types are passed on through these genomes as well. Right now, they can't quite prove that. Okay, I think they can only do that with psychological tests and things like that. I don't think they can see that yet. Yes, coming through one. Wow, yes, what I was going through. Justina. Oh, okay. So, yeah, so you're going through that. You know what? If you're not going through it now, you have in your past, Justina, right? Yes. Yes, I know that. That's why we know. Listen, this is where we talk about this stuff. We know what we go through. We know the battles. We know those inner turmoils that we go through, and they affect us to the deepest part of the core of our soul. Yeah, that's the only way to describe it. They're just so far into us, and sometimes those are very painful because that's how far they go. That's how introverted we can go. How isolated we go. Is that? But like I said, Justina, you know that part that you find is lonely there, that loneliness you find in that, and typically through the most of our life, it's painful there. But eventually you change. When you find your awakening, that part becomes your strength. That even though you are alone technically, physically, that that changes. It transforms into your greatest source of refuge. Yes. Okay, it doesn't feel painful anymore. When you know that's going on, you know that you've changed, and this is what you forged to as an INFJ is finding refuge in that deep part of your soul. It's not lonely anymore. It isn't. It's your peace. It becomes your greatest peace. That part of you. Okay. Oh, Dream Just. No, oh, INFJ. Okay, maybe I misread what you were saying. You said something about as an EISFP or so. You made it sound like that. I thought you were that. Okay. I have found sensing people can be so different. I can only be around them for so long. Yep. So I'm saying I know the same thing. Yeah, that's what I'm curious about. If it's psychological types, is very possible to be in the DNA. Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, I ask these questions a lot and wonder if it's all part of the whole DNA chain as well. I think about that. In fact, I've brought this up a few times on this channel. My concerns about that and wonder why. So, yeah. But I think but like I said, I think we've all definitely been there from a time in our life. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, I like the questions. People, I love your questions. I really do. See, that's all you got to do. You just throw a little question in there, and I start going off. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think a lot of that, my mom was like that too. Gosh, I mean, my mom used to have deep conversations with me and my brothers. I remember her being like, she talked like this. Yeah, that's another thing. I think my mom was an INFJ because she loved, it's perked her up. I remember sometimes, of course, I had another brother, Paul. He was very spiritual. He's still around. He's still my brother. I don't think he's an FJ, though. I don't think he's that. I'd say he's more extroverted. I think he's intuitive. ENT. He could be an ENTJ. I don't know what. That's what I described my brother Paul. If I was to think about it, maybe E. Is he extroverted or introverted? Well, he's got a mess of kids. He's got 5 kids. He's been married he's been married forever. He married his childhood sweetheart, and he's still married to her. They knew each other for 50 something years. So he's still married, right? I mean, they had their ups and downs, trust me, as a married couple. But he's got 5 kids, and I think there's like 7 grandkids, and they're still having kids. All my nephews. So, but I'd say he was in the Boy Scouts. I mean, he was more of the, he was a good father, very hands-on dad. Something I just could never do, So I mean, but bottom line is, he was spiritual though. But bottom line is, I mean, my mom would always talk with me and my brothers, and she loved those deep conversations about spiritual and everything we're talking about, basically. She can go on about that, psychology, world, and on human nature, all that. I'm like, yeah, I think my mom was like that. She had that certain piercing stare that could pierce into your soul, She had all the traits of an INFJ, my mother did. And again, I didn't know that at the time. She's not with me anymore, but I can only imagine. Okay, ISTPs are project people, not so much into people as they are into their projects. Okay, if you were one of their projects, they could be good or bad. Oh, like a project, yeah, into sensing, thinking, perceiving, yeah. But they're introverted, so they're not the ESTP, they're the ISTP. So they're introverted perceivers, and but they're sensors and thinkers. So they're more like good at projects, huh? If you were, oh yeah. So something tells me they're right. They're probably right in the now too. They're probably very much caught up in the moment they're in too. Something tells me, but they're introverted, so yeah. Justina, 70. Okay, I didn't know my dad, but always wondered if I must have been like him. Oh, really? You didn't know your dad? Did he pass away at a young age before you knew him, or did he just kind of not be? He's not in your life. Yeah, I didn't have much to do with my dad either. I mean, I met him, I knew him. By the time I was the youngest out of 5, he had a lot to do with my other older brothers, but when it came to me, I didn't, the marriage was already kind of getting broken down, and I kind of got the brunt of all of it. Even my mom said, she used to tell me, she used to say, I think you had a lot to do with the marriage failing more than the other ones. Like, it affected you the most. She used to say that. This is my mom told me that, so she could probably see the troubles that was happening because of the breakup and her marriage to my father. She used to say that. Oh yeah. Okay, so I didn't know. You said didn't know your dad. That's a shame. Yeah, I suppose I got the IN from my dad and the FJ from my mom. Both parents have passed, but I see more and more of that I am a reflection of both of them in many ways. Okay, so there you go, Justin. So you're kind of seeing, yeah, I think there's a good possibility. Funny thing is, though, now that you mentioned that, my dad, I believe, if I was to type him, my dad was an ESTP. Yeah, he was opposite my mother. I'm just saying, I could be wrong. I don't know, maybe, but from what I knew of him, he would have been that type. Yeah. Yeah, he was always the very, alpha type. He tried to be. He talked. He always had to be, he was kind of a know-it-all. He had to know more than everybody. He had to be, stronger than everybody. He had to be, everything better. You know what I mean? He was just one of that. He, very competitive. Sports. He always, he always had to be, the strongest. And the things like that, the toughest, and yeah, he had that ESTP kind of personality about him. I mean, he was my dad. I didn't really have a lot of raising with him, but that's the only way I could describe it. So I had a little bit of an opposing, but I took after my mom. Even my dad told me that. He told me one time I thought I was just like my mom. Yeah, and yeah. But okay, dream dust. So we got yes, they are very much in the now. It can be a good balance for an INFJ in the way, but challenging. Maybe we need to challenge, no, challenge to grow. Maybe we need challenge to grow. I think our challenges are internal. I mean, a lot of times, I think every type has challenges to grow and things like that, but I think extroverted types, you know, being in the now, their challenge to grow is usually in the sensing world, especially extroverted types. And their idea of growth, their idea of challenging is their status, the way they are in the world. Obviously, like an ESTP. Let's take that. That's the total opposite. I usually go to that one because that's an opposite of an INFJ. Extroverted, sensing, thinking, and perceiving. And again, a very physical type. Now, their idea of changing and growing is basically if they get down and out, what do? They'll probably hit the gym. They're the types that will just start working out and work. Okay, kind of like, kind of like. Who's our guy? Who's our workout guy out there? Who is he? I can't think of his name. I know that. Why am I hidden Harp? Harp, there you go. My EST brother is hardworking. Yeah, see, he knows it. He's got an EST brother, and he's an INFJ. Harp, I've been so wrapped up I couldn't think of your name. That's it, man. I was thinking of that. But that's usually what happens with ESTPs. Is that they're very physical. Not to say INFJs can't be, but that's their way of healing. That's their ways of advancing. They need to make more money, work harder at work, maybe start getting more status with people and things. Maybe they go to church. Maybe they need that extroverted prayer. Maybe they're the types that would probably go to a priest and confess their sins I'm sure they get spiritual. But they need that extroverted spiritual. Like I said, I was talking about how I think religion is very geared toward extroversion too. All these rituals and symbols and churches and choirs is all extroverted sensing, and that appeals to the masses. So, but that's their way of healing. Maybe they go to the priest and confess. You know what I mean? Or they pray, or they do an extra few Hail Marys or something. I don't know. How they would introspect. But I think a lot of it has to do with their status. But our status, my point is that a lot of times our own status is internal. Our own status of healing is how we are within our mind, our spirit, and how well we are developed, and how well we can contain our thoughts and keep our mind and our world around us in order in our personal way. And we're always competing with ourselves. We're not competing against anybody else. Typically, an extrovert might compete with somebody else. They want their grass a little greener than their neighbor. They want a better car or another car that's just a little more faster than their neighbor or their best friend. You see what I mean? This is their status. We compete with ourselves within our spirit. We want to get better than we were 3 years ago when we were, we're not going to. We're not going to fold and buckle under pressure and spiritually than we did. We're going to be better and stronger than we were. See, so we're always trying to get better within ourselves because that's all we got. We're introverted and inside. So that's our way of bettering versus other types. You see? Okay, I think let me see what you got written down there. So I hope that's how I weighed in. That was Dream Dust. I believe Dream Dust asked that, right? Oh, okay. Hey, we got Mace, EX and Mace. Totally agree with our challenges being internal. I've come to that conclusion many times. There you go. See, you like that, huh? Catherine Briggs was an INFJ. Isabel Briggs was an INFP. And the rest of the family were introverts. Oh, okay. So the Briggs, I see, the Briggs family. Yeah, who's the Myers, though? I thought Myers was another one. They took it over for a bit. It's like they handled it and brought it down to the 8. And then after that, the Briggs family broke it into 16. It's like they kind of expanded the whole combinations or something like that. That's the way I understood it. Like Carl Jung just kind of came up with like the 8 different functions and how they were in certain people. I think either that or he really I don't think he broke it down into these brackets is what Carl Jung did, but he's the one who originally came up with that. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that Catherine Briggs was an INFJ and Isabel Briggs was an ENFP. Okay, all right, but both introverted intuitives. Yeah, and they took an interest enough to take that down a little bit. But then again, that's how we broke it into that. Huh? It's all fairly new within the last probably, 70 years? Within the last, I mean, it's a fairly new concept. It hasn't been around that long. Okay. Okay, so we got, totally agree. Yes, his brothers are hardworking. He cannot go to the gym for years and still be outperforming me somehow. Oh, really? Oh, okay. But he secretly does admire when he is in pain. Oh, I see. That must be odd. You got a twin brother, identical twin brother, and you got polar opposites. Hey, now you would almost think two brothers, being that you share the same DNA. You share the same DNA. You split from the same egg, but you have different personalities. See, that's interesting. You can almost say, well, how can it be genetic? Wouldn't they have the same personality, but you're two opposites? That's one to say, well, maybe it isn't genetic. But then again, you just never know, right? Maybe it's random. It's still random. Even though I think if it's passed down from a parent, one child may get passed down, be an INFJ from their parent. But then again, I had a father that I believe was the total opposite there too. But I think a couple of my brothers were more extroverted and things like that. So I know all my brothers were different. Although I do have one other brother, I think he's kind of an introvert. In fact, my brother has his sons. A couple of them were. He has a second son was very introverted. I think he might be. I haven't really looked at his personality, but he's definitely like introverted, intuitive. He's very good at chess. He's almost like that. He's almost like that on the spectrum thing. But I mean, he's very introverted. I don't know. I don't know enough about him to determine if he's a planner, a judge, or any of that. So, okay. They expanded on Jung's theories. Yes, personality-wise, I could pretend to act just like him, but it's exhausting. Yeah, right. Yeah, you'd have to go into your shadows to act like him, I guess. Yeah, you'd have to flip. He's my way of knowing exactly what I'd be like if I was an ESTP. Yeah, I can imagine. Is he more reckless? Does he like extreme sports like skateboarding and like hang gliding and bungee cord jumping? Usually those ESP tips, that's just that's just the way they do things. I mean, typically. Jethro, Isabel's husband, was a big part of Catherine Briggs figuring out the concept of a test, and his last name is Oh, is that how it was? Thank you, thank you. I do have a book. I used to read up on that. I read up a little bit on it. I didn't get all the names and all that, but Jung just had 8 personalities, and the mother-daughter team expanded it. Oh, it must have been quite the passion to put it together. Genius. Oh, okay. All right. So Jung had it to 8. They doubled it to 16. Got it. There you go. Mace. Yes, it's mostly a life of internal struggles. Okay, Justin. And Jethro's giving the thumbs up. Yes, he's saying exactly that. Yeah. See, once I start talking like that, I see everybody perk out. All INFJs perk up and say, "Yeah, that's been my life." When they see how deep the suffering is. Yeah, we suffer. We go through these bouts and and we have nobody to look at. We're just kind of sitting in the dark, sitting in our room. Maybe the tears flow, or maybe we just think. I mean, there's bouts. There's bouts there. You could be taking a shower, and then if something happens and the tears start flowing, and you wonder why, and you say, "Well, what is it? Why?" Yeah, you just don't know why. All of a sudden, these emotions start just blurting out in you, and You're just glad you're by yourself because you don't want people to see that. You don't want. I'm a grown man, and I'm sure you guys out there don't want people. You don't want to see you blubbering out, with your eyes bawling by yourself. You're kind of glad you're at least alone, so people don't have to see that because it looks pretty sad. I can only imagine if somebody was seeing that, our state that we were going, they'd think, oh my gosh, they'd just feel like, yeah, you'd feel pretty bad. Nobody's there, but you don't want, but you don't tell anybody. You don't want people seeing that. Yeah, it's not their business, and it's not their battle either. You know what I mean? Yeah, but eventually things just. But you eventually though you see the clarity. It happens. Maybe weeks later, you see the strength and the clarity that and the wisdom that unfolds because of these moments though in your life, and that's when it becomes when you realize it's all for a purpose. All right, and then but you have a lifetime of going through that, and eventually you just turn into yourself, your real self. Yeah, your authentic, awoken self as well, right? Okay. He's pretty reckless, but it's not always obvious yet. He can give off a cool guy type and vibe, but very stimulated by the environment or directly stimulates the environment just because he's bored. Yeah, see, there you go. Yeah, that's exactly what that type is. Their stimulation is from the environment, from the outdoors, and just like getting those those highs and lows of. I mean, but a lot of times these guys are gamblers too. A lot of times these guys are the type that get in addicted to like the high and low of the win and the loss. These gamblers, they're addicted to that. Just the whole idea of betting your money, just knowing that you're losing, and then you try to get the money back. Sometimes they have those. Not to say other types don't, but these guys are really prone to that kind of thing because that's all part of that extroverted sensing, extreme stimulation of like the unknown of So gambling's like that, and that's usually a bug that gets in you, and it's addictive, and it spawns a lot of other addictions too. So I think that's a more addictive like personality too, to senses. Okay, so also there's a documentary about personalities that the granddaughter has. Oh, the granddaughters of the Myers-Briggs documentary. Really, is it on YouTube, Justin? I mean, excuse me, Jethro. Jethro. It must be, huh? Okay. I'm gonna imagine that's a YouTube documentary, right? Okay. Dream dust people can. Okay. Let's see. We got Jethro. We got Justin. Excuse me. Dream dust people criticize the lady's responsibility for MBTI, but it seems to work. So people should give them more credit. Oh, people criticize the lady's responsibility for MBTI. Are you talking about Myers-Briggs ladies? Like they don't get credit? Is that what somebody says? But it seems to work, so people should give them more credit. Okay. I personally think I personally think he's as crazy as a road lizard. Oh, you're talking about your brother. Oh, man. Hey, you know what? I mean, he's your twin brother, but it sounds like you guys are polar opposites personality-wise, and he's just reckless and you're more introverted. Yeah, that sounds like quite a dynamic, but I can imagine he looks, pretty similar to what you look like, but he's completely different. And they're twin brothers. That's amazing. But he's still your brother, no matter what. He's your twin brother, and I'm sure that there's a connection you guys have just being brothers. They say there's a certain connection twins have, some kind of a. I mean, they say that. I mean, there's an old myth. I don't know if it's a myth or if it's proven that a twin could be hurt and he could be in a different part of the world, and the other twin will actually feel like their hand burn. If they burn their hand on a stove, let's say, or they got hurt, they'll feel a pain, even though they're not physically near them and didn't know about it. Like they feel it. I don't know if that's true or not. Now listen, being that you're a twin, is that true? I mean, that's like some kind of you talk about a connection with twins. I guess they're kind of connected that way. I don't know if that's true or not, but okay. I personally think Jethro. Persona, the dark truth behind the personality test. Documentary is very informative stuff. Yeah, I can imagine so. I can imagine so, definitely. Yeah. Oh, good gosh. I feel like I got to stand up a little bit. My back is starting to bug me a little bit. I might have to get up in a little bit here, people. Yeah. Well, I've been here for how long have I been started? Oh, 2 hours. I'm sure it's over 2 hours. Maybe it's pushing the 3 hour limit here. But yeah, hey, I tell you, we've had a really, very good, we've had a good audience so far, though, people. Really have. Had a lot of, I've seen a lot of new faces and a lot of people come streaming through here asking questions, and some stuck around, and some did. And so I see a lot of new names out there, and I'm glad we're getting some new names sometimes out here too, right? That's awesome, and it seems like a lot of people, like I said, he hung around. So he gets mad when I call him predictable. Oh, right, yeah, yeah. Nobody wants to be too predictable. Yeah. I think a lot of times with INFJs, people think they figured them out, just because they have a certain routine. Usually, INFJs are routine types. Yeah, we're the planners. We like structure in our life, so we plan a lot, and a lot of times we like that routine. I mean, you got a certain time you go to work every day. Everybody's got the same time you punch in, you punch out, right? You got your certain routine there. Everybody's universally like that. You got a certain amount of hours, a certain amount of time you're at work. Yeah, I get that. But then there's routines too. I mean, where you might spend your weekends always doing a certain thing. Maybe you do a certain amount of yard work. Maybe you work on your plants, your flowers, clean your house, whatever. But there's certain routines we go to. Now, that could be predictable in a way because we're routine. But the thing is, too, I mean, there's still an unpredictability about the INFJ, too, is the fact that a lot of times you think you figured them out, but their routine might show that because they're doing the same things all the time, externally doing that, but their mind is always changing. Their mind and their ideas, their ins and out of their thinking is always like very unpredictable, even to ourselves. Sometimes we're a mystery to ourselves too. You know that, right? And I can imagine what other people must think. But sometimes it could take a lifetime to figure out an INFJ. It really can. And I can imagine some people out there even looking for it as a challenge when they figure out an INFJ, or they get to know one, and they might try to put some mind effort trying to figure you out. And they think they do. They think yeah, that's like sometimes they think you're a challenge. I've had people do that in my past where they try to guess what you're going to do or say or think. It's like, I've even had friends of mine. Funny thing is, like, they would almost like take bets as to what you're going to say or do. And you could tell the way they're looking at each other, like, see what I mean? Yeah, I thought he'd do that. And the other one's like, hey, I seen that through I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but yeah. Yes, the Myers-Briggs ladies. Okay, I thought that's what you meant. Okay, I want to read some of this. Okay, he gets mad when I call him predictable. Some people just hate when you are right. Oh, okay. Yeah, I used to that. Yeah, with ex-friend. Okay. Oh, you mean predictable? You mean, is that what it is? Okay. Yes, Tom, the Myers-Briggs. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of something, though. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I think INFJs they're a tough one to figure out sometimes. People think they figured you out, and only because of your external routine. Yeah, we might do things the same way. Go to the store at the same time, get our groceries the same time. You might see somebody pull into their yard after work with the same amount of groceries the same time. Routines. You think, oh, they're predictable. Yeah. And so to an extent, I guess that's a predictability, but that's externally. That's extroverted predictability. But yeah, you really can't tell what's going on in the mind. All the different changes they got going on in there. So, but I mean, again, constantly evolving. And plus, they don't try to lead on too much in our life as well, right? Hidden. I would do that all the time to someone at school. I would always tell her off when she'd go to me, like she'd pick on me, snap back with her next steps. Oh yeah, yeah. Just want to talk about school things, huh? Man, it's been a long time. You know, sometimes I tell you, I don't know what it is about the way it is. I don't know how you people are. Do you people reminisce a lot about your childhood? Do you think a lot about things? Because sometimes my mind goes there. I don't know. I'm going to ask the chat if because occasionally, I mean, I'm all over the place in my life. I mean, in my mind, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll think back to old things that I've done with friends that I don't haven't seen in a long time, friends that might have even been passed away. I've heard that they're not even alive anymore. I've lost a lot of friends over the course of my life. I don't hang around with any much anymore, but sometimes I think about like my brothers, even some of the adventures me and my brothers used to do. Like we'd all hang out together, me and my brothers, right? And sometimes we just toss around a frisbee, and or sometimes we just all get together and go to like miniature golf or batting cages. We did a lot of stuff, and I think about stuff like that a lot. I don't know if it's just something that we do. We just like to retrospect. I mean, I know we're not living in the past, but sometimes I try to think of all the good things, good memories I have of my brothers, even though we're all, a couple of them have passed on, and I don't see my other remaining brothers very much, and that's all I got are two brothers left. But it's, sometimes I think a lot about my childhood, and I notice that sometimes. Or sometimes I think about my mom, my grandmom, they're done, they're gone, but I think about things just things they said, some of the interactions. I wonder if we're all like that, you know? Okay, so oh yeah, I have done that my whole life review. I will not have to go through the life review when I pass. People who die or have near death seem to have life review. I have already done that. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully it's not because I'm getting ready to die. I hope not. Although sometimes I tell myself, I don't know how much longer I got to go. I wonder how much life I have left in me. I don't know. I mean, you start thinking that way when you start getting to certain ages. You're starting to see you kind of see in the end of your life. It's not as it's not a long life anymore when you get in your older ages. I mean, you just do the math and realize that, right? So, Tom, I'm not a very nostalgic person, and I wish I was, and I wish I were to do a personalized MBTI related theory on that. Okay, I love it when people find out as nice as they perceive me. Okay, so I tend to remember almost every single negative experience in life with near perfect recall, which I think leaves less room for good memories to be archived. And I blame this on my SI, introverted sensing, as I am as the eighth function. Yeah, I used to do that too. I used to think a lot of my negative thoughts too. But you know what? Listen, Harp, hopefully you don't, it's okay to think about these things, but understand too, if you're harboring certain, if you're reliving them and you're harboring resentment for negative things of, let's say, I've talked about this before, Harp, I have, but a lot of times you have to make sure that you're facing these things, and when you're able to face them without resentment, without reliving them, as long as you're thinking about these things without letting them consume you, and you feel as though you're reliving them over and over again, right? Then I think you're healing in a way. But if you keep reliving these things over and over again, then it's just going to keep you stagnating. You have to kind of forgive and forget. That might be some of the things. If you have not resolved these negative things in your past, and these things are coming back for review because you have not hurdled past them. And if you haven't faced them and forgave them, then they're going to keep coming back to you until you resolve them. You see what I mean? So hopefully that. So hopefully that's. Good night, Genesis. Okay, Genesis is taking off. Oh, good night, good night, Justin. All right, he's about to crash. You see what I mean? So hopefully, yeah, these are things that keep coming back for review on you. I mean, that's all I can say, and hopefully, you can resolve those things because, yeah, that just means they're not quite resolved. I used to do that because I'm only basing this on my own theory, and this is what this channel is about. Is because a lot of times I've done that too. I used to focus on negative things that bothered me, things that my mom and I used to like, my mom, I mean, she might have been INFJ, but we didn't see eye to eye sometimes. Sometimes I didn't like my mom, or she seemed out of, we were at odds a lot, all right? And sometimes I think I used to relive things that my brothers and my parents did. And a lot of times I just would relive them until I realized that that's what was keeping me down. Until I started meditating and I started realizing I have to face these memories without reliving them, without resenting them, without continuing to just let them consume me every time. And then they went away. And then I don't think about these negative thoughts anymore. But when I do think now, I think I try to remember them in a positive light. I try to see them. I look at my mom and just I kind of chuckle to myself and say, I don't look at them with negativity anymore. It's like a change. So I look at these events more in a piece, like a positive way. I try to remember like friends and family that are departed and remember the good things they gave me. Yeah. Well, anyway, I hope that helped out a little bit there, right? Peace out, fellas. Okay, Janice. Okay, Justin, Genesis is out. Good night. Okay, when I think back on good memories, it doesn't give me much of an emotional trigger. Okay. Well, yeah, of course. If you're thinking about on good memories, it doesn't give you an emotional trigger because they're good memories. But those negative ones will because you didn't resolve them. You're making my point. You really are. Okay? Really, I mean, if you find your center and meditate more and start looking at your thoughts, you got to separate your thoughts from your soul and start understanding them. And you got to watch these memories, these negative ones, without reliving them, resenting them, and you forgive them. I tend to have a strong. Oh wait, okay, wait. I want to read Mace. I find detaching myself from the human personality helps a lot when I'm dealing with past negative events. Just being the observer and letting things go as much as possible. Okay, all right, and so that's how Mace is doing it there. Then detaching from human personalities. Okay, so you find a way of detaching helps you. I tend to have a stranger or uncommon relationship with photos and kind of hate seeing them. I know that it's a strong word, but I do, especially when I'm in them. It makes me angry sometimes or depressed. Oh, Hidden Harp, were you able to be free growing up, having a twin? I never thought about that. What? Yeah, sister's younger. Have whatever I wanted to just carry. Good night, Genesis. Okay, Vamps. I do like one. Okay, I have to go. I have to go for a bit, but I may be back. Okay. Well, okay. I see that. Yeah, I know. We've been at this for many hours. In fact, people, I'm telling you, my back is kind of getting to me because I've been sitting for a while. So I've actually been here for 3 hours, people, and my back is starting to bug me. I gotta be honest with you. I'm gonna have to get up in a bit. So honestly, people, I'm gonna have to kind of go also, so I can. But we've been 3 hours, all right. So I'm gonna have to wind down this broadcast here, people. Okay. So well, anyway, that's a lot to think about. I think we touched on so many different things tonight, so many different keys that we can think about. All right. And I think a lot of people agree. And I think there's been some new people in here that some new texters, and that always makes my day. And some of the questions you're asking, and if I've helped out in any way, or if we have helped out You know, because it's not just me. Because some of you are answering the questions also, and I see them and I think brilliant stuff. You just have a small paragraph, and I can only imagine what you would do if you were speaking. I can imagine the wisdom that would come out of you. I can only say that much. Okay. All right. I see people are starting to drop off because they know I'm leaving. Six are now watching. Gosh, I lost most of my audience. That's okay. Okay, but you know the core is here. Well, people, listen. This was our Friday night. All right. And we had a beer together. Jethro, we had a beer. I hope you had a beer over there, Jethro, all right? I'm thinking you had your beer or whatever you were drinking on your end. I had my beverage over here, you know? That's all. Well, I call it a beer. It's actually it's actually a Shirley Temple, you know? So, but anyway, so people, yeah, I'm gonna get ready to wrap up this broadcast, okay? Thank you for hanging out with us, for having us over. Yes, absolutely, definitely, Tom. We understand. Yeah, okay, all right. I think we did well. Sipping on the Heineken, Heine. Okay, he's got the sipping on the Heinekens. All right, there you go. Isn't that the Canadian beer? I think that's Canadian, right, Heineken? Yeah, I think so. Oh gosh, yeah. Oh, my back. For some reason, I don't know. Is it this chair? I mean, I tell you, I don't sit in this chair this long. I mean, this is probably one of the first times I've sat in this chair that long, and it's starting to bug my back. I know it's one of my chairs, but I don't think it's meant to be sitting for very long. You know. Okay. So we have them here. I have a slow coffee. Oh, you got your coffee going, Vamp. All right. Yeah. That's good. Like I said, it doesn't have to be. It was as long as we had our beverage together, all right? Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Again, most of the core is here. I didn't see Jason. I know not everybody showed up. There's a few that probably couldn't make it today. I know typically Jason from Wales is typically out here too. I missed a couple, but that's okay. You know what? Because we got a whole lot of new faces in. We got a lot of new people coming in, and I've seen a couple repeats come in from the last visit. So it's growing. Either way, these live chats do grow, and I think that's wonderful. I gotta say, I think that's awesome that we just growing this thing. Okay, 007. Good night, sweet dreams. Hey, I'm gonna remember that. If you listen, I randomly go live. I try to. I've been going randomly, sometimes at night. Depends on where you're from. I mean, if you're a subscriber to the channel, that's another thing. If anybody has found the channel, if you're not, subscribe. And of course, you'll be notified whenever I put out a new video, whenever I put out a new short, and of course, a live. You'll know that. You'll know that firsthand when I'm doing that. So, yeah, that'll keep you posted on some of the new material as I let it out. Okay, if you like this kind of thing, if you would, please, people. Okay, and I want to thank you for all hanging around. And I tell you, you enlightened me, and I hope I'm giving back to you people, and you find some kind of relief knowing that we're not alone in this world as INFJs. We may feel alone, we may be isolated in our way, but we're not. We're not alone. We're in the same experience together. Okay, we're experiencing it individually, but in some way we're testifying to it. And a lot of times when you hear other people are going through similar things, I mean, yes, it makes you feel not so alone. Yes, it kind of makes you feel a little sad knowing people are going through the same struggles you are, like I do sometimes. I mean, I'm saddened for the fact that we go through these heartbreaks, but at the same time, I think it's good that we're doing this together, that we know we have each other as a support, all right? And I think that's what makes this channel worth me coming out here for. That's why I do that, okay? So people, thank you so much for subscribing. Jethro. Okay, I see a bunch of good nights. We understand, definitely. I'm waiting for you to get to your 1,000th subscriber. Good luck. Yeah, I'm getting close. We're going to have a big old party when that happens, Jethro. We'll have to have a big old bash for that one. What do you think of that idea, huh? There you go. Whenever that happens, yeah, that's getting closer, though. It's getting closer all the time, you know what I mean? All right, well, awesome, people. I thank you so much. Thank you, Tom, and everyone. So remember that be on the lookout for that new video I got coming out. It'll be out I can't remember. Tomorrow, I think later on tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. I can't remember when I put it out, but it'll be out there. Okay. And I think that's a good one too. You're going to like that. Like I said, it's called inferior versus superior extroverted sensing, since we were talking a lot about that. And a lot of times I think that's something that us INFJs, we're always trying to improve that extroverted sensing, trying to find a way to get it to be more work for us, just work in our advantage because it's usually inferior. So, but all right, well, awesome. Thanks, Tom, and everyone else. Well, okay, I think that's pretty much it. So I tell you what, I'm going to do this again sometime when I get a chance, and I'm going to hope that everybody shows up again too. All right, awesome. Well, to anybody who was here, thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm gonna just say thank you. And how do I end this? Thank you so much. Thank you for attending. And until the next time, that's it. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day. Okay? That's what I say. All right. Thanks again. All right. I gotta shut this down now.